And welcome into the Wednesday edition. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you on this Wednesday morning, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping for homes and businesses that want to stand out, not blend in. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. Live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios. Home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Joe Rexrode, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Right behind you, there's what I was watching yesterday. I don't know if you guys were watching any Argentina, man, but I just turned it on and immediately Messi puts one in the net, but he was offsides, and then the next time he touches the ball, he rips one, puts it in. The guy is freaking unbelievable, man.
It's hard to believe that is his that's his first World Cup hat trick. First one.
I guess.
I mean, it's hard to come by a hat trick.
I was going to say hat tricks sound pretty pretty lofty, man, but yeah, it's crazy also that he's about to be 39 next week.
Yeah.
But
how long do we think he's
awesome.
if he was one of those guys that just wanted to like hang around, you know? Because I wonder the same thing about like LeBron. Like if LeBron's only concern was just like remaining good enough to be in the league, how long could he play? The same thing with Messi. Like if he just wanted to hang around and play, like as long as he could, like basically Jaromir Jagr, who just I think is still playing like pro hockey over in Czech Republic.
Still got
if he just wanted to hang around, how long could he do it?
It's a good question. Speed has to be part of this, right?
It's got to be.
But like, and he still seems to be moving pretty well. But I mean, the unbelievable ability to like that place the ball. And again, I sound like an idiot because I'm talking about soccer and I don't even know like the proper terms for this, but it's just a laser in a spot like out of nowhere from him.
Yeah.
And so that's a skill that, I mean, I would think would certainly carry well into his 40s.
I mean, I would say I have seen, I've seen Tom Brady play in person. I've seen LeBron James play in person. I've seen Messi play in person.
Yeah.
He's probably the most famous one, right? Like if you go
worldwide, yeah.
He's probably number one.
Yeah, no, I would, yeah, definitely. I mean, like a Brady, if you feel like most of the world would, they would know those other guys too. But yeah, I mean, worldwide, this is the number one sport.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's pretty great. Yeah, and I don't know, man. I even thought, this is the World Cup, or maybe it could be his last one, or maybe you'll see signs of him slowing down. He's playing in MLS now, whatever. But yeah, he's just out there just doing ridiculous stuff. So I'm enjoying this. I gotta say, every day, and it's another. Usually around this time of year, like Katie gets like less sports on TV, but she's even actually liking this stuff.
I'm liking it too. I continue to be inundated every day with more people around the country visiting that are just enamored with free refills. So like that's a big thing on my like Instagram feed and TikTok feed right now, is just all these people like, wait a minute, they're bringing me more. They got more coffee coming, or they got more Sprite coming, or whatever it is. It's amazing.
Yeah,
just the fascination with refills is pretty funny.
Someone did a mashup with and other things too, like even people like looking like, and I don't even know where this guy was. It was like a South African guy in some park, and just other different things like at the beach and things like that. And it's like, yeah, you know what? It's pretty cool. We do have some cool stuff here. You guys are right. Yeah, that's right.
Ian, how we doing? What's going on?
Good morning. Doing just fine, thanks. Another fun day of soccer. Kept keeping up with that, but doing good. Beautiful day yesterday. Got to get outside, do some yard work, hang out with the fam. Summer's officially on, so yeah, happy Wednesday. Watched the little Titans pressers yesterday, try and keep up with any happenings from minicamp, and keeping an eye on soccer, and nice summer relaxing time. Maybe I was thinking about starting some non-sports show or watching some non-sports shows.
In addition to Charmed.
Yeah, well, Charmed is on.
Yeah.
This is more like when I get home in the evening. I've just like stopped watching regular TV.
I think a lot of people have.
One episode in, Widow's Bay.
Okay.
I'm excited about it.
Like I haven't started any, None of the Netflix shows, none of the Disney shows, none of the Hulu shows. I need to find maybe something non-sports.
I'm the guy. I'm the guy that will go back and watch some of the same TV shows that he's watched like legitimately 10 times.
Yeah.
I did that a few weeks ago. They just finished Justified. That was on FX for a while. Great show. Good stuff there. So like I've watched the entirety of Justified probably legitimately 12 times. I know I know basically all the lines.
Maybe I should
and
try.
It's still good. I'm like, I still enjoy it. I don't know why I do that.
Should try and go back and do like maybe an old HBO throwback.
Sopranos. I've watched that multiple.
Sopranos again. Mad Men. It's been a long time. The Wire. I've seen. Handful.
I just
twice.
went through that again. So,
yeah. Maybe do something like that.
The Wire would take like 10 times to get everything.
So does that suggest that because I would definitely make this argument on the movie front right now. We're just we're lacking maybe the same quality that we used to have. Like people are running out of ideas. Like we feel like there's anything valid to that.
Well, I think what it is with Hollywood is that if you're not doing like a Marvel, it's harder to get the money to make just like a movie, a regular movie, right? Like you can go super low budget, and those are still the movies that like get Academy Awards stuff. But I mean, it's like franchise type things or reboots or, Marvel, whatever. If you're not doing something like that, it's hard to get the money now. And TV has taken it. I think TV has taken some of that away from movies, right? For one thing, people want everything on demand where they're sitting at home. But I mean, obviously TV has become 30 years ago, it wasn't a place where like the very best people went and did their stuff. You'd have to do a movie. Now it's like actually a series in some ways can be better.
Yeah. Logan says that 70s show still hits.
There we go. Always
Red
good.
Foreman, one of the great TV characters of all time.
That's a good one. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
They made a spinoff of that, that 90s show or whatever it was. It wasn't as good.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that sounds lame.
Did you watch The Americans? Did you watch Ian, The Americans?
Is that with Kerry Russell?
Yeah, Kerry Russell and Matthew Rhys. Yeah.
Saw the first couple of seasons.
Okay, well,
yeah. So that was a good one.
Yeah, it was a very good show. But that guy is the key guy in Widow's Bay.
Okay,
which is like a comedy horror, which may sound stupid, but I think it's pretty freaking good.
All right.
So there's my recommendation.
Good to know. What do we make of the ratings for the NBA Finals are out? Apparently, it is the most watched Game 5 when the Knicks wrapped up the title since 1998. So that would have been what Jordan's last
Jazz
ride with the Bulls.
Bulls, Jazz. Yeah.
Most watched Game 5. It's a very specific number. Since 1998, audience peaking at 33 million as the Knicks were wrapping up their championship.
Well, some of that I would think would just be. Look, the bottom line is it's a New York team. So again, with Kuharsky will be in. So Kuharsky watched all these playoff games, right? And in the last 20 years, how many Knicks games you watched? 3?
Yeah, probably.
Parts of 3.
By the way, the overall finals is the highest since 98 as well.
Okay.
Chicago and Utah.
That's great. I mean, I've got to think a lot of that is the bandwagoning of our biggest city, right?
You would think so.
I mean, that's got to be a part of it. But I think also, look, I think a young star like Wemby is marketable and is interesting. But the whole Knicks story, I think, is got to get the most credit for that, right?
Significantly more than last year's between OKC and Indiana.
God. Yeah.
So apparently, this series averaged 20.6 million viewers. Indiana OKC last year was 10.3. So they legitimately doubled from last year's NBA Finals. Shout out to OKC and Indiana.
Which brings up again, by the way, just the terrible job the NBA is doing of fixing things. One, to ever have an OKC Indiana. 2, even this year. I mean, we couldn't get a 6th game. We couldn't get a 7th game. How lucrative would it have been for League to get a 6th and 7th? Terrible job of fixing things. You got to work on that. You got to fix things better.
I agree. Spurs
pretty weak.
Played some modicum of defense in the second half. That'd probably help too.
Yeah, but if the games are fixed, then what does that matter? They'll figure it out. The next, somebody's got to figure out a way to get to Game 6, Game 7.
We got a lot of stuff on the Titans front to get into today. And Kuharsky will be with us in the second half of the show. We'll get into a lot of what he's seen on the field, on the minicamp /OTA front. with the Titans. One thing I've learned in the very short time that Robert Saleh has been the head coach, and this is fine. I don't have like some big problem with this. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of coaches in my time, then some of which have been especially illuminating, some of which have not. I don't think Saleh's going to say a whole lot in the press conference setting. That's what I've kind of come away with.
Yeah, it's a lot of coach speak.
It is.
Which
is fine, whatever.
It doesn't distinguish him. It makes him more like the pack
norm.
than other. But yeah, no, you really. I mean, look,
Callahan was
Ryan
good.
Callahan was pretty freaking good. I mean,
that's
like,
about the only thing he was good at.
Yeah, like I mean, if there's a reason now to miss Callie.
Yeah.
Callie had some great pressers. It really was willing to take on any question, get really in depth with it.
Yeah.
Came off really smart, illuminating, gave you some insight. But the football did not follow the press conferences. So
left some things to be desired.
Saleh he'll be the reverse.
We got a lot to get into on the program. Like I said, we will get into Titans minicamp storylines throughout the show today. We'll have PK with us in the second half of the program. Chris McFarland makes his first trade as general manager of the Nashville Predators. We will get into that a little bit later in the show as well. Take your thoughts at 615-737-1025. We'll get into Cam Ward, some of the comments he had yesterday, his day at day number 1 of Titans minicamp yesterday as well. Coming up next, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Titans minicamp underway as of yesterday. They will go through tomorrow for minicamp, and then it's off for summer break, and the next thing you know, it'll be training camp around here. So not that far away from football season here in the Music City. We'll take your thoughts throughout the show on the Titans at 615-737-1025. Apparently a better day for Cam Ward yesterday. Was more accurate out there, obviously compared to what we've talked about with the OTAs last week, and we'll get the specifics on all that and get into that in more detail with Kuharsky a little bit later in the show. But Cam Ward also addressing the media yesterday, and he was asked about some of the inaccuracy and his misses so far in offseason practice, and Kuharsky, I believe, was the one asking the question. Here's what Cam Ward had to say on that front yesterday.
Coaches have attributed a lot of your misses to new system, new guys, all of that.
Which coach?
Both Robert and Brian. Do you think that's fair, or have there been some that are plays that you should be making regardless of whether stuff is new or different?
Nah, just think it depends on the situation. A lot of the times, wherever we're in, I'm going to do really anything in the world when 7-on-7. There's no live rush. It's not football. Then when it comes to the team aspect, you got to have the mindset of you have Jeffrey Simmons coming at you, so you can't sit back there and pity-pat the ball. You got to get the one read. You probably got to check it down the next play. So it just depends on the situation, depends on what team period we're in, and, how I feel, what route we have on versus that coverage and how I need to throw it.
So number one, let me congratulate Cam Ward on the use of pity pat in a sentence there.
That was nice.
Very good stuff.
I like that.
From Cam Ward on that front. What'd you think of Ward's answer there and what he had to say about some of the misses in practice?
Yeah, just fine. I mean, just going through different things. I mean, making the point that in 7-on-7, you're probably just, you have a little bit different mindset as opposed to, like, you still, to me, like, you should be able to, like, just pick people apart in that, right? But still different mindset, whereas in team you think of it more like it's football, and obviously they're trying to make it as game-like for him as possible, which, there's limitations there, but they're trying to make it difficult. And I don't know, it was a fine answer. I mean, it didn't give a lot of insight, but
no, I didn't think it gave a lot of insight. I mean, I think what a lot of people are trying to nail down in all this is how much of this is you just missing throws that you should be making, and how much of it is you're trying different stuff out there. So I don't know. I mean, look, I don't know what that is. We've talked with PK about kind of the difference in that. Apparently he responded and had a better day yesterday. Not a perfect day, but a better day out there on the practice field. So good to see. We've been saying, hey, go out there and have a good day. Well, it looks like he did yesterday. So that's good stuff on the Cam Ward front. I was thinking about this, Joe, like, the paths of the recent quarterbacks around here. Tannehill side, I think Tannehill's a different thing. You can kind of take him out of this because he, at that point, had been a starting quarterback in the NFL. He came in and basically just immediately played well for the Titans when he came in. But I was thinking about, like Marcus and the trajectory that he was on and how the fan base kind of viewed him throughout all that, how it changed over time. Levis, obviously a much shorter sample size on that front than Marcus was, but it was interesting. Like Levis was okay, like his rookie year when he got in there, had some moments that he looked good. In some ways, like it was kind of similar to Ward, other than Levis actually had a first game that was, threw 4 touchdowns. He's unbelievable in that first game. And then it was like, oh, okay, is that what he's going to be? And it was all downhill from there, kind of similar to Marcus.
Billy Jeans
in that front. But like I think it would be fair to say after Levis's first year, there was optimism in the Titans fan base that he could turn into a guy. And then we saw what happened in his second year, and that was quickly over. Like Ward right now, I'd love to know from Titans fans how we're feeling about where things stand with him after year one, because it's interesting from the standpoint of, like, I think most Titans fans, when they took him, liked it. They liked the pick at number 1. There were some that did not. We heard from some that said, I just don't know that he's worthy of being a number 1 overall pick at the quarterback position. And then you watch him play throughout an entire year. You get to this offseason, there have been some accuracy concerns. Like, I'd just love to know from Titans fans right now where they're sitting on Cam Ward, how they're viewing where things are with him at the moment.
Yeah, I think, first of all, there's people who were really dug in early.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes that's when in the conversation in these things, it's like if you were really like absolutely flying the flag, in other words, you're a Cam do, then you're more likely to be. I mean, everybody wants him to do well if you're a Titans fan, but
Yes.
but you're more likely to frankly spin things or reject negatives, as opposed to the people screaming, "Do not draft him." I mean, look, I think that we both agreed during leading the draft that he just wasn't a number one pick overall quarterback.
Yeah.
So the what are you doings? Those people are looking. I mean, I know one in particular who is just angers everyone in town. Good for him.
Are we officially? What are you doing? Where do we fall?
I don't think so. I mean, to me, I think we're catches Cam cans. Okay. And that's, I think, the most of the fan base. Look at Ian. He's like, what is happening right now in this program?
You've got to be stopped.
I don't think we're what are you doing? I mean, maybe you are. I'm not looking for every negative thing.
No. I would not classify myself.
I mean, I didn't think they should have drafted him. Also didn't think it was like the crime of the century to draft him. It was an unfortunate year to have the number one pick to me. And also, I think that the trade that was offered, like, we'll see, but it sounded pretty decent to me. Now, again, if you end up with Jackson Dart, I mean, I don't know if he's going to be any better,
yeah.
And then that's probably what it would have been, right? Like you probably would have ended up going that route. And I have no idea, if that's any better, but I don't think we're what are you doing? I think we're catches Cam cans.
I think I'm largely with, I think the way like Kuharsky handles it in terms of like when we're talking about the draft, we'll discuss the draft ad nauseum. As you know, Joe, I mean, over the last couple of years when the football team hadn't been any good, we probably spent just as much time talking about the draft as we have the actual football team, which I'd love to get out of that cycle at some point. That'd be great. But, I'll offer my opinion on where the draft is, like who I think is good, who I probably wouldn't take with the number one overall pick or whatever it is, wherever the Titans end up picking. But, after it happens, like it's the same thing with Carnell Tate. Like, I don't know that I would have gone Carnell Tate at number 4, but after it happens, it's like, okay, well, clean slate, open mind. Let's see how it goes, right? I mean, it's the same thing with Ward. I wouldn't have taken him at number 1 overall, but they did. So you can either sit there and whine about it for 3 years until they make a decision, or you get an open mind. You say, okay, well, this is what they've done. Let's see if he can live up to it. And that's where I'm at with him. And I don't know, like, the overall, I thought the picture in year 1 wasn't good. I don't know how much of that is his fault. And that's the other part of this. And number 2, like he did see some good things. So I'm not totally hopeless. I'm not out on Cam Ward. I'm just very, I think, open-minded would be the way that I would put it with him.
Yeah. Steve Lehman made a point, which I think as we were going through it in real time, we thought the same thing, which is that there were some signs of progress late in the season. There were some good performances and some bad performances. Overall, the overall numbers, not good. Also, from the start, when he was drafted, another issue with this is, and certainly this is the case plenty of times because that's why teams are where they are, but he was not coming into a good situation.
Right.
So if you're going to take a guy and throw him right out on the field in that kind of situation, you need to kind of grade on a curve to a point, right? So I think most of the fan base is basically what you just described, which is just hopeful and in the middle and seeing some good things, but trying to look at it, clear-eyed and not trying to, overemphasize the negative or the positive. I think the people who are really dug in are the ones, and again, I think it's a smaller percentage of the group overall who are a little bit more, they want to win their argument.
Yeah, 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Where do you stand on the Cam Ward front right now? A lot of your responses are already rolling in. Keep them coming at 615-737-1025. We'll get to some of those coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Our football offseason coverage brought to you by Tennessee Brew Works. Locally brewed, community-driven. Tennessee Brew Works, the official craft beer of football offseason coverage here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts on Cam Ward, 615-737-1025. Alex says, the upward trend at the end of last year for me, for Cam Ward was promising, but you still need to see more. Ward feels less like the flash in the pan that Levis was. But he still has a long way to be a good starter. Brian says, I'm still about right in the middle. I don't think he's going to be a complete bust, but I also don't think he's going to be one of the greats, and that's been about where I've been with him the whole time. I'm just a fan from the outside looking in, and I get that it's June, but I feel like there's been a ton of excuse-making for Cam from the start. Would you guys say that that is normal in today's NFL?
I would. I know some people would probably say, Nashville, you're soft. And there's excuse-making everywhere because, look, people want to believe that someone certainly drafted number 1 overall is the guy, and if it doesn't, you don't snap your fingers and have, CJ Stroud's rookie year, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow's rookie year. If you don't immediately have that, then people start to question it too. So I mean, yeah, there's excuse making, but again, there's also sometimes the excuse making is to counteract overly panicky reaction too. So there's some of that. But yeah, this is and look, it is, I don't disagree, like it's excuse making, but for the most part, I think it's wise to wait and see. It's wise to get more information, see if a little bit better situation this year, and I think in a lot of fronts it is a better situation, leads to better performance. I would tend to agree with you that, Brian, that like it right now as we stand, I think an all-time great type of player probably does more with what he had last year than what Cam did. Again, doesn't mean Cam can't get better. We're seeing quarterbacks in this league turn into much better players like 4 and 5 years in now, right? I mean, I would tend to agree that like he's probably not going to be one of the greats, but I think he can still be a good quarterback. And if you have that with a heck of a team around that quarterback, you can win a lot of football games.
Yeah, like first off, it is an NFL thing. Like when you draft somebody, particularly if you draft somebody high, I mean, basically in every market, you go down the list of people that you start to blame, and then eventually when you run out of all those excuses, you get to the quarterback. Like that's how it goes in the NFL. So
kind of like the goalie a little bit. No one wants to put it on the
bit.
QB, right? It's hopefully it's something else.
Well, by the way, I mean, some of those excuses are valid. Like, it's pretty clear that the coaching wasn't great last year, right? Like, yeah. I mean, Brian Callahan Cam Ward comes in and Brian Callahan is the coach. And then, I mean, obviously it's not a very good situation for him there. So the roster is what it is. I mean, and that part of it, I get. I also think I've got less patience for than maybe some other people do, because when you're talking about number 1 overall picks, yeah, for the most part, you're not coming into a great situation. Now there is like, Caleb Williams in Chicago, right? Like there's a trade that was involved and all that. And he came in and it wasn't exactly, it wasn't a horrible situation that he came into. Now they didn't thrive under that until year 2 when they made a coaching change, and then they won the division, got in the playoffs, won a playoff game, all those things. So it's not a perfect situation when you're coming in normally as a high draft pick. But yeah, in general, like I just think, I think you're looking for ways to prop up your quarterback when that's the way that it goes, and you're talking about a highly drafted guy. Now, at some point, if there's not halfway through this year, if you look at it and you say, yeah, I just don't know that he's a lot better than he was a year ago, then I think that's going to start to shift a little bit with some people in the fan base. Like you're gonna look around and you're gonna say, okay, well, by this point for a number 1 overall pick, I would have liked to have seen more progress than we've seen. And it doesn't mean that he's doomed to failure at that point, but it does mean like I think there's an entire year's worth of grace period that you're going to get as a number 1 overall pick anyway at quarterback. I think when you start to get into year 2, if there's not halfway through the year some pretty meaningful progress, people are going to start looking around and they're going to say, all right, what's going on here? Like, why is this not better than it is? And look, I hope for his sake it's clear by about game 2 that it's better, and we're not even approaching that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I constantly, or maybe frequently make the comparison, but I do look at Marcus Mariota with a very bad team with some spectacular moments, including his first game, but very up and down. They didn't win. Coach gets fired, all that stuff. Then you bring in a center, a right tackle who's an all-pro. You trade basically nothing for a terrific, a great running back who you draft another guy who's going to end up being a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, he has the best year of his career. It will be the best year of his pro career. Also, by the way, as I've pointed out before, didn't end up meaning much. At some point, you're like, yeah, it's just not quite good enough. But can Cam Ward have the Titans done enough in this offseason to give Cam Ward that same kind of a boost? Certainly, they did more at receiver than Marcus had by getting Carnell Tate, we think.
Yeah.
Right? And Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, Marcus throwing to Rashard Matthews, throwing to Delaney Walker, too. And by the way, I think one of the little stories here, we'll ask Kuharsky about it later, but it seems like Gunnar Helm is he's just in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe he's going to end up being, I'm not saying he's going to be Delaney Walker, but he's maybe going to be a little bit more reliable of a target. Have they done enough otherwise? And that's the thing. Like, the offensive line is still a question. Like Steve Lehman said yesterday, that's the concern. But yeah, you'd love to see that kind of a season from him and a jump. But the biggest thing, I think, is really the coaching didn't change that much for him other than Malarkey as a head coach. I mean, Robisky had been there, right?
Yeah.
Now, bringing in Daboll should be huge, right? It should be a big deal for him.
Well,
so there's enough done. But I just worry that, like, again, if the middle of the offensive line is just a huge problem, then some people will be like, oh, great, we have more excuses for Cam. But again, some excuses, or a lot of excuses, have some validity to them.
Well, I think the problem and what makes this really complicated, and this is not just a Titans thing, it's a league-wide thing when you're evaluating quarterbacks. Everybody wants linear progress, and it just very rarely plays out that way. Sometimes it does. I mean, sometimes a guy steps in and is okay the rookie year, and then it's just better and better and better as time goes on, right? I mean, Peyton Manning's probably a good example of that. Not very good his rookie year, and then it was just boom. He just took off from that. And sometimes that's the way it goes. But other times you have like a Sam Darnold situation where he was not very good as a rookie. He was okay in his second year. In his third year, he's terrible, right? Like they were 2-10. He threw 9 touchdowns, 11 picks. He had a 59.6 completion percentage. Like, he just wasn't good in his third year, and that was it. That was all for him in New York, and they moved on, and he ends up in Carolina after that. And then you have the other situation, Joe, where it's like, okay, Marcus, okay, rookie year, very good second year, and it meant nothing. And that was, he just after that wasn't good. So everybody wants linear growth from like a starting point and a finishing point. And very rarely is it a straight path to get there. And that's what makes this so complicated.
Yeah. So I agree with what Lehman said. I do think that even though there's different ways to win and lose games, you could have prolific performances as a quarterback, lose games. You could have ugly performances as a quarterback and win. Marcus in his third year, and they still got to the playoffs, won a playoff game. He had some good clutch performances. The overall
wasn't very good.
Numbers weren't good. They were a step down from the year before. So I think it's oversimplifying, but some plays that win games next year would be big. Obviously he made, you think about like the Arizona game, but as also was like a fumbled, pick that was fumbled and all the weird stuff that went into that game. But you want to see more of that. Like Ed says, Ward's completion percentage getting blown out of proportion, needs to improve, but if he's clutching the big spots and it produces wins, I could care less. No, Ed, you couldn't care less.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I think I would agree. I would agree to a point. Now, I also think like you're gonna be in better position to win more games and things like that if you have a certain bar of completion percentage, right?
If your completion percentage is a certain point, you're probably not going to need some of those clutch performances because you're making throws throughout the game that lead you to not being in those situations.
Yeah, or games that like you don't even have the opportunity, you now do because you complete more of your passes. But yes, I would take a guy who, John Elway, again, let's make some ridiculous comparisons, but There's a guy who wasn't always the most efficient, but certainly was big plays and big clutch plays and clutch drives and stuff like that.
Well, and
More important.
it's also interesting too because, like you said, Lehman talked about on the show yesterday. What do the Titans do from a team standpoint in terms of increasing their win total? And I would agree, like that's a big part of this. But like I also look at, I look at the games they won last year, which wasn't very many, as we know. They won 3 games. You brought up the Arizona game. Go back and watch. It's an all-timer of a gaffe by Arizona, right? Like it's just you almost had to try to lose the game the way that the Cardinals did in that one. Which, by the way, had they not done that, Titans would have the number 1 overall pick again. So it's amazing it worked out that way. You beat Cleveland in a game where, frankly, like Ward didn't play that well. Like if you go back and watch that game, he wasn't very good in that game. And then you beat Kansas City, and I don't even remember who they were playing at quarterback that day. Like, I don't remember who Kansas City's quarterback was
that guy's
in that game.
name.
It was not Patrick Mahomes. I do know that.
It was some dude we've never heard of in his
wasn't
first
Chad
career
Henne.
start.
Right?
Yeah.
Chad Henne's retired.
Yeah. I have no idea who was
Len
playing
Dawson.
quarterback
Ripping
for
darts.
Kansas City that day. So those are your 3 wins right now.
Yeah.
You're
Chris
talking about
Oladokun.
Right, Chris Oladokun. So there you go. So
Sure.
you beat Chris Oladokun, you beat the Browns, and Ward wasn't very good in that game. Pollard went off in that game, ran for $161, and you had basically an all-time performance for the Cardinals to choke a game away. So those are your wins right now. So like the best games to me that Ward played last year. He was good against Kansas City, but like he played pretty well against New Orleans in a loss. That second part of the game against Seattle.
Yeah.
They were down 30-6 at one point in the game.
Yep.
They ended up coming back and making it 30-24. Like he was really good in the second half. So like some of the best games he played last year or best moments that he had came in losses too.
Yeah, exactly. So while ultimately people view wins at least to a point are like a quarterback stat, when you have a team this bad, you have to look deeper than that. You hope that this year his performances improve. The defense is better too, giving a better chance to have more clutch moments in the fourth quarter of games and drives that could win games. But yeah, it could be the same thing this year where he has really good performances and for whatever reason they lose or vice versa. He's not very good in some wins, but the win total and just his performance, to me, it's so much more important that he shows individual progress than like this team wins 8 games versus 5 games.
Right. And I would generally agree that for the most part, it'll even out, right? Like if your quarterback plays significantly better, it probably will lead to more winning. Like for the most part, that's the way it happens. I'm just saying, like, if you want to look specifically at the wins they had last year, how much of them were Cam Ward? I think there's a lot that goes into winning and losing a football game. Especially if your team is bad as the Titans were a year ago. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. A lot more of your thoughts to get to on the Cam Ward front. We'll do that next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com will be with us later in the program. We'll get into all things Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans with him. Taking your thoughts on Cam Ward right now at 615-737-1025. Craig says this, said, I would rather the Titans win games. If Cam sucks and the Titans win, that's okay. We can find another quarterback in the draft. A bunch of teams do it. What I'm tired of is paying for tickets and the Titans season being done by mid-October, and then all we have to look forward to is the draft, which is 6 months away.
I don't know, man. I think you'd be a bit of an outlier there, Craig. I get the second part. Of course, you're sick of losing.
Sure.
But I think most Titans fans, and I think they'd be right if they feel this way, would rather see Cam Ward take a huge step, and then there's other issues with the football team that have to be fixed. Fine. I mean, you hope it's not like, oh, another coach who doesn't know the rules or something like that, right? But okay, the secondary's terrible, or whatever it is. I think you'd rather you just lose a bunch of close games, but you're getting closer. You're right there. I mean, wouldn't you rather have that than, well, Cam stinks, but hey, we keep finding ways to win 13-9 games, so yay.
Well, I mean, again, the entire point is eventually putting yourself in a spot to compete for a championship, right?
Yes.
And I think everybody would agree there's a baseline level of quarterback play. You're going to need to do that, right? And so, I mean, it doesn't have to be Mahomes and it doesn't have to be Burrow and all those things, even though I know that's what people are looking for when you take somebody number one overall. But he also, I mean, your quarterback can't be the weakness on your team either. Like if you think you're going to go win and actually compete for a championship, your quarterback can't be the thing holding you back.
What's the best team with a bad quarterback in recent time? Is there like a really good team with like an objectively bad quarterback?
I'm thinking. I mean,
it's been a hot minute.
I mean, look, Minnesota last year. I keep going back to Minnesota and all these answers, but Minnesota's got Justin Jefferson. They had a really good defense last year. Somehow they still ended up like 9-8 with JJ McCarthy, but their quarterback play for the majority of the year was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So they would be one. I mean, the year before that, they were 14-3 with Sam Darnold. So I'd probably put them on the list, which is part of what makes them intriguing this year with Captain Video Game out there.
Like Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez.
That's not bad. Yeah, the Jets were good. They
got to AFC title.
Really great defenses. I'm thinking of now. I'll date myself with Don Strock as the Miami Dolphins. Speaking of the Dolphins,
sure.
In the '83 Super Bowl, lost to Washington the year before they drafted Marino, but they got to the Super Bowl with Don Strock.
I mean, frankly, like if you want to look at Titans history, I mean, go back and look at Vince Young's year in 2007. It wasn't very good. Like he was, they found ways to win games, but let me pull up like they made the playoffs in 2007. I think they got beat by San Diego in the playoffs that year. But here are Vince Young's stats from 2007. 9 touchdowns, 17 picks, threw 2,500 yards, and they ended up getting into the playoffs. It wasn't very good.
Yeah.
And they found a way to get in there somehow.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, Craig says ugly wins are better than pretty losses. Yeah, I agree, but but again, the whole well, we'll find another quarterback. Well, sure. Some teams just do that forever and ever. You don't want to be the Browns.
I mean, I would agree. Like ugly wins are better than pretty losses, but I'm talking like long term of the franchise. Like if you're trying to win a Super Bowl, which ultimately is the long term goal here, you're going to have to at least have a baseline level of answer on the quarterback front. Like, look, people are not going to agree with this, and that's fine. We've talked about this, not to get you back in the Tannehill discussion, but Tannehill at the peak of his powers here was good enough to win a Super Bowl. I understand he choked the Cincinnati game, but at the peak of his powers, like that level of quarterback play was good enough to win the Super Bowl. McNair was good enough to win the Super Bowl. He didn't do it,
right,
but he was good enough to win the Super Bowl.
Totally.
So like if you can, nobody's asking him to be Mahomes. Like Darnold last year is a good example. Darnold, we just went through some of his career and the way it started. I mean, the last couple of years, I mean, maybe we shouldn't talk this way about Sam Darnold. Last couple of years, he's been sensational. And then he caps it off with a Super Bowl last year. So, like, there are different ways to do it, is all I'm saying when it comes to quarterback play.
Yeah, we always bring up the same, and people are bringing up the usual suspects. Rex Grossman with the Bears. There's a great example. Trent Dilfer won it with the Ravens. You mentioned yesterday Joe Flacco won it with the Ravens. Yeah, good quarterback Flacco.
Yeah.
Dilfer, I would not say was a good quarterback in the NFL.
And the
Super
Dilfer
Bowl.
thing's so long ago at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's 26
Jamal
years ago.
Lewis and like an unbelievable defense. So, but that is at least like, I mean, there are other ways to do it. I mean, in recent times,
nobody's going to view it this way, but in recent times, Peyton Manning in 2015 won a Super Bowl,
That's right.
and he couldn't hardly throw the ball 10 yards down the field.
Absolutely. He was a shell of himself. And sure, he was out there, the leader, and he would still make some plays, but yeah, he was nothing. He was not close to a great quarterback at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
and
he
they
could
won it,
barely
but their
throw.
defense was unbelievable. So, yeah, there are different ways to do it. Terry McCormick did have the raw numbers here.
Okay.
So I give Terry McCormick some props for going through all this. And again, all this is you can take it or leave it, but I think it's worth tracking. Why not? If you're out there, why not track it? Good job, Terry. I'll go bottom to top. So Hendon Hooker, 16 to 25. This is in all the practices.
Okay.
And 6 open practices. So of course, this is only what the media could see, not the whole everything they were doing. But he has Hendon Hooker, 16 to 25, no touchdowns, a pick, 64% completion. Levis, 61 to 92, 9 touchdowns, 4 picks, 66.3 completion. Trubisky, 57 of 72, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 79.2% completion. And Cam Ward, 72 of 130. No surprise he has the most passes. 8 touchdowns, 3 picks, 55.4% completion. So, yeah, it's not a good number. But it's also, like, yeah, it's take them for what they're worth, which is no sort of gospel or anything. But I think it tells you a little bit, like, yeah, he's missing some throws that you want to be able to hit on. He's missing some layups. That's why they're called layups. Like, convert them.
Boy, Hendon's not throwing the ball very much, huh?
Hendon not getting a lot of reps out there. Not getting a lot of reps. And Levis, by the way, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, he had, the 4 picks, an extra pick with 40 fewer passes than Cam.
Yeah.
But, 66.3, 9 touchdowns, showing a little. He can play a little bit.
I'd like to see the picks. How egregious
Yeah.
were they? I've seen some doozies.
Behind the back.
Yeah. Let's head back to our phone line. Welcome in Steve and Franklin to the program. Steve, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, good morning, guys. One of the biggest thing I actually Cam would improve on is stop holding on the ball so long. I took a lot of unnecessary hits last year, and if you need to throw the ball away, throw it away. And I thought some of his worst games last year were the 6 divisional games, where those aren't the teams you really want to play bad against.
Yep.
And I'd like to see the Titans win 6 or 7 games. If they had a winning record, sure, I'd be pleasantly surprised. But that's all I got. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the holding on to the ball thing, I think we talked about that a lot last year. That's got to be something that improves, and that should improve as time goes on too. As you're recognizing more of what you're seeing in the NFL. Dable should be a big help on that front this year too. So I'm totally with Steve. That ought to be something that gets better. Said back to the phone line. Welcome in Tim to the program. Tim, good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, guys. Enjoy the show. Hey, they just need to, hopefully Cam will get better for the next 2 or 3 years. If he doesn't get a whole lot better, then just hang out and just draft the hometown boy from Vanderbilt now, Jared Curtis.
There we go.
There we go. Go ahead and hurt us. Go ahead and hurt us for Curtis.
There we go. Look at
Boom.
I'm telling you now, you think I'm crazy, but we'll see.
Well, I mean,
the Titans have never had a history of drafting or even getting any Vanderbilt players. They don't like them, and they're eventually going to have to because we're getting a lot better players now than we've ever gotten in the past, and we'll see. I mean, Jared's going to be. I think he's going to be a player in college, and we'll see what happens.
thank you, Tim. Appreciate it.
2029. Hurt us for Curtis.
I would like to say this. I would like to see him throw a college pass before we start drafting him.
But I like
the idea. I would also say, I don't know that the Titans have had. I know Vols fans think the Titans have had some vendetta against them.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would buy the Titans have had some vendetta against drafting Vanderbilt players. I just don't think there have been very, very many good Vanderbilt players over the last 25 years.
Right.
That is starting to change now, so that's good. But there hasn't been a whole lot to choose from.
No, but I like that we have now Vanderbilt fans with the whole, how dare you disrespect our program?
I like it. Jared Curtis could be the answer at some point. I mean, look,
Heard us for
if he
Curtis,
lives up
2029.
if he lives up to the hype, he'll be a first round pick.
2029.
But again, I'd like to see him throw a pass first.
That would be a good start. Let's start there.
615-737-1025, our phone number. Kuharsky will be with us later in the program. We got a lot of stuff on the Titans front to get into with him as minicamp is underway. Coming up next, Chris McFarland has made his first move as general manager of the Nashville Predators. We'll get into that. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar here with you, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Get thicker grass, better color, fewer bare spots with turf application. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com will be with us later in the program. We'll see whether or not there's any New York Knicks attire that he's bringing with him, or what he's got to say about the championship his team just won. I'm looking forward to it.
His team. That, as Ed pointed out, thank you, Ed, game 1 of the finals, Paul, let's have a live Titans podcast.
He's got to work.
I'm so into – let's talk about the Titans. There's so much going on.
He's got to work.
Sure. Yeah, you're a big Knicks fan.
I mean,
New York, go New York, go.
I think that's that could be symptomatic of how dedicated he is to the job, of like knowing that there's a finals game with his beloved team going on and working through it anyway. You know? That's how much he loves his
dedication to the craft.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's really important. There's no way that any of those people who would watch his videos would care to watch an NBA Finals game. It's really important to have it right at that moment.
Well,
there is no spin for this, Kuharsky. No spin.
I'm looking forward to the discussion coming up a little bit later in the show. Chris McFarland has made his first significant move as Predators general manager. Preds make a trade yesterday for Ross Colton from the Colorado Avalanche. They swapped some goalie prospects in there. Preds sent Magnus Corona to the Avalanche. A 2026 third-round pick, a 2027 third-round pick coming back the other way for Colorado. And Ross Colton, who is 29 years old, kind of a middle six guy. He's been around for a while, done a lot of winning. He's got one more year left with a $4 million cap hit, and obviously some familiarity there from Ross Colton when it comes to Chris McFarland. So the first move he makes is going to get an Avalanche player, bringing him in. And again, 29 years old, he can play center, middle six type of guy. So, I mean, this is not what I would call a needle mover by any stretch of the imagination. I do like Ross Colton. I think he's a good player. And I think the phrase that McFarland used was a little bit of sandpaper added to the lineup. He had 24 points in 73 games last year, 9 goals, 15 assists. His career best, he had 22 goals as a 25-year-old. He's kind of a late starter. He didn't get in the NHL until he was 24, but played on that Tampa team in 2021 that won the Stanley Cup. Had another good year with Tampa in the aftermath of that, scored 22 goals that year. He has not scored over 20 since then. He's been on the edge of it, 16, 17, and 16. And last year, his worst year offensively. So don't know exactly what that means. Maybe a down year you're hoping, and that he could – I mean, if he could give you what he's basically been throughout his career, Joe, which is, 16, 17 goals, somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 points, I think you would take that as a middle six guy for $4 million for one more year.
Shooting percentage, career 11-4.
Yep.
He's always been in the teens. Last year went to 5.9.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You would think that there's going to be some correction.
You would think that, like that that's an outlier based on his career. So, and basically kind of, I guess replacing Eric Halla. I mean, that's
I would
presuming
think
that Halla is going to be elsewhere.
I would think
as
so.
A UFA. Yeah.
I mean, Halla's unrestricted free agent. You get Colton coming in, and he's also a guy that, depending on the type of year he has, he's 29 years old. He's got 1 year left on his deal. If you're in a spot where you're selling again, you could sell him off next year, right? So there's also that. I mean, I don't think there's a ton of risk here. Like, I did see some Predators fans be like, really, 2 third-round picks for Ross Colton? I'm not especially caught up on the draft picks part of it right now.
I think they have like 17 third-round picks.
They've got a ton of picks.
3 years.
And they've already picked a ton of people. So, like, I'm not especially broken up by the draft pick compensation.
Use your picks
for
players.
It doesn't particularly bother me.
And one of them was Colorado's original.
Yeah, exactly.
They got one back.
Send it right back.
So
now it is. People did point out to me, of course, like the first move he makes is with Colorado. Like, is this just going to be one of those like, Well, anytime there's a situation that comes up between the Preds and the Avs, just look at McFarland and be the first place they're looking to send somebody. I don't know.
I do
But it
wonder
is first move.
if you're Colorado and you're Sakic and McFarland calls wanting him, how do you feel about that?
I think you can both have an honest conversation, which is like he'd help us. They probably have to with their situation, they probably have to trim a little bit of salary, right? So it's like, okay, yeah, what's fair?
Well,
you probably trust each other, so they feel like it's fair on both sides.
Well, I think if you're Colorado too, the cap's going up. I think they've got now almost $7 million in projected cap space. So, I mean, you can go out there and kind of tinker with your roster a little bit now if you want to. They're going to try to sign McCarr to an extension, and that's not going to affect next year's cap, but they're going to try to sign him to an extension on July 1st.
That'll be a juicy
and it's
number.
just going to be an unbelievable number. Like it'll be whatever Cale McCarr wants it to be, which, I mean, that's what I'd do too. I'd be like, hey, bud.
What will it be, like 15?
It may be more than that. It's going to be a lot. I mean,
it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. So,
but yeah, you got to plan for that.
I mean, according to AI, I mean, you may have nailed it. AI has projected contract extension value is between 14 and 16 million, potentially reaching as high as 17 or 18 per year. So we'll see. I mean, Kaprizov gets paid $17 million a year.
Yeah.
If I'm McCarr, I'm like, well, good Lord, if he's worth that.
What am I worth?
That's still why McDavid signed in for like 12.5 mil for the next 2 years in Edmonton is just so unbelievable to me. It's like, oh, Kaprizov is worth $5 million more per year than McDavid. Cool.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, it's really interesting too with Colorado. Like the Preds, I feel like the Preds and Avs have just traditionally made a bunch of deals with each other.
Yeah, they really have.
Now may just
especially for like
continue to happen. Right, exactly. Yeah, continue to happen. But.
Logan says, I think the Colton trade is the end for Svechkov. Dude changed his stick like 10 times last year. I trade him now and get a pick for him. I mean, I don't know if it's the end for him. I think he's on incredibly thin ice. I mean, you're talking about now you're 2 general managers removed from who drafted you. It was not a good year for you last year. And I've said this 1,000 times, but it's important. There's so many people in the pipeline right now that part of Chris McFarland's job is not just developing your young players, but you got to sort them out too. Like who's good, who's worth keeping around, and who do you have to move on from? I mean, you got to figure some of that out pretty quickly. Like, you know, it may sound crazy, but like you got to figure out probably this year, like, does Kemmel have any sort of long-term future on this team? Svechkov for sure. Like you got to figure that out. But I mean, I'd throw Kemmel in there. There's a couple guys I'd throw in that mix of, are they going to be parts of your future, or are they just people that you need to move on from and make room for other guys that are already in your organization?
Right. Mute. And I would just look at this independent of that too, because like you just said, if this year is rough, he might be a perfect rental for somebody.
Yeah.
And he might be on this, on this organization for a few months, and that's that. So I would look at something like this as independent of these prospects. I think they're going to have their opportunities to, grow into roles, or they're going to be elsewhere.
615. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, this move doesn't really change any of that.
615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. More of your reaction to the Ross Colton trade by the Predators yesterday, plus a little nugget that has been thrown out there that we'll get into as well. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Taking your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Joe, shout out to Nick Keyser, who uncovered this yesterday, late last night. Apparently, Chris McFarland was on Sirius XM NHL yesterday. And he was talking about Andrew Burnett. And he said, quote, I talked to Andrew Burnett yesterday for a long time. Looking forward to getting to know him next week at development camp and moving forward. That sounds to me like Andrew Burnett's going to be back as head coach.
Yeah.
I guess there's a chance they could keep him through development camp after you've drafted people and at that point have gone through free agency and then moving forward. And then I guess fire him in July.
Maybe that's his tryout.
So, yeah.
How's he doing development camp?
Development camp look like as you're not on the ice and you're over here watching? What's that look like? That sounds to me.
Is he paying attention?
That Keyser found that and tweeted that out last night. And that sounds to me like Andrew Burnett is coming back.
Well done, Keyser. Good find. And yeah, we're not surprised, but that is a nice little nugget, a little closer to a confirmation.
Yep. So that's not a surprise, guys. I mean, I don't think it changes a whole lot. We've talked about the McFarland part of this. Like if you're McFarland, I mean, it does make some sense. And you have got a coach with 1 year left on the deal. There's not a ton of great options out there right now, especially if Vegas is just not going to let Bruce Cassidy talk to anyone. And by the way, John Tortorella is not coming back to Vegas next year, so they got to go figure out who their coach is going to be. So that's going to be interesting. But there's not a ton of great options out there right now. So if you're McFarland, I think it makes some sense to let Andrew Burnett start the year and then just see how it goes. Like if they play well and you feel good about it, then at some point at the end of the year, you're going to have to make a decision as to whether or not you extend him if you're Chris McFarland. But if it doesn't go well or you've got somebody that becomes available that you would rather have as your head coach, well, you've got time to do that if you're Chris McFarland. So, I mean, first off, with how late it is in the game that they hired him, it's June the 17th. You've got the draft in 2 weeks. You've got free agency coming up. I mean, it's always kind of made sense that this is the way it would play out. I read those comments as, I guess not official confirmation, but that's pretty close to sounding like Andrew Burnett's coming back as head coach next year.
As you lay all those things out, I guess it's like, what would be wrong with just actually them confirming it? You know what I mean? And ending the speculation.
Look, I didn't listen to the interview. Maybe he did. I mean, I don't know where to find the interview.
If he did, and Keyser only gave us the little hint there, then now we're not. Now we're not.
Now we're going after Keyser.
Yeah, gonna praise Keyser, but it's just like unless you're actually leaving the door open for some whatever it might be. Yeah, why not just? I mean,
talking like press release.
You could, right? Andrew Burnett will not be fired.
He is with us next year.
But I mean, when's the next?
Give him 15 games. Figure it out. And if he doesn't figure it out, we're going to fire him in November.
Yeah, there you go. Andrew Burnett will be our coach until possibly Thanksgiving. No. When is the next time that McFarland speaks?
My guess is it will be in the aftermath of free agency. So July 1st, July 2nd, somewhere.
Do they speak around the draft?
Maybe. I mean, he could. Not always, but he could.
Yeah, you would hope so, right? So then,
it's the end of the month, right? 26,
just
something like that.
Yeah. Confirm it then.
Yeah.
Get it over with.
I'll see if I can ask.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we could have him on the show too. Has he already told them that he doesn't want to ever come on our show?
Well, I've not heard that.
Is Chase not letting us have him on the show?
I've not heard that.
Okay.
I've been given no restrictions.
We could just ask him ourselves.
Yeah, maybe we will.
All right.
We've been given no restrictions on that front.
All right. Chris, we're coming for you, Chris McFarland.
Maybe listening to our show. And maybe we're now a part of his morning commute, and his thought process very well could be, I don't know if I want to go with those guys.
Keep me away from that show.
I don't know if it's kind of like the Nick Westbrook-Akine approach. Like, never again. Don't go back on that show.
Did you hear those freaking
Probably
Christmas
not.
carols yesterday? Yeah, I will not be going on that show.
One texter asking do I think Vegas will have trouble hiring someone since they like to hold people hostage. No, I don't, because they just were in the Stanley Cup final. So I think that they will be fine when it comes to hiring.
They got a good roster. Torts, though. Thank you, Torts. Thanks for playing. He's He's back out there.
Somebody asking you, how much more confirmation do you need other than from the GM himself? Well, you didn't outright say that the coach is coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
kinda what
just
he's talking
one of those things. It's just housekeeping item, right? Just knock it out. I hate when things like that linger out there.
Joe wants an
You know?
announcement on like the marquee at Bridgestone Arena. Just put it out in front.
You know, it's like, yeah, I mean,
Andrew,
not
congrats!
fired.
You're still around.
Your office does not need to be cleaned out right now. No, I don't know. It's just one of those things like why because we all, I know that on that side, it could be like, well, why do we even say anything? You know, I mean, he's under contract, you know. But
Well,
yeah,
again, I didn't
come
hear
on.
the interview. Maybe he confirmed it. I don't know.
I
I'm
hope
just
not.
telling you.
Keezer, he better not have
the quote
Keezer.
of what Keezer said.
This started praising Keezer, and
I mean,
we'll end up
Keezer's got
ripping
the
him.
quote. I trust Keezer.
I hope
There
that's
you go.
the best quote. Then there was another quote. It was like, by the way, he's definitely coming back.
I mean, look, I will read the. I'll read the tweet from Keezer because he did say this on Sirius XM today. McFarland said Andrew Burnett and his staff are coming back next season. And then this is the quote he said. I talked to Andrew Burnett yesterday for a long time, looking forward to getting to know him next week at development camp and moving forward. So the quote doesn't really say anything about him coming back, but Keezer said he did. So there you go.
Someone on the YouTube chat says he confirmed it.
Well, there you go. So we need to find this
We
interview.
need to find this out.
Where does Sirius XM put their interviews?
Yeah, I don't have XM anymore.
Yeah,
I pulled the plug. Got to cut back on something.
I haven't seen it floating out there. They don't make their interviews widely accessible.
This is quite a mystery.
So I think it's safe to assume he's coming back. That's what I'm assuming now.
Safe to assume
He's back.
It might be official news.
It could be
that he's coming back.
potentially official news.
Here's a quote.
Back.
So anyway, I'm really looking forward to the season. It's the best quote he gave.
I mean, it highlights also the importance of, if you're Andrew Burnett, I think you want to do this every year. Like, obviously, the goal is never to come into a season and be like, well, what we should really do this year, guys, is start 6-12, and let's see if we can, battle our way out of it at that point. But I mean, I don't know what the emphasis needs to be. I don't know if you change up like what you do in training camp. I don't know what you do if you're Andrew Burnett, but you got to find some way, somehow this year to get off to a half decent start. Because if you don't, it's probably not going to end well. That's my guess.
Yeah. Critical to figure that out for whatever reason. Some of it has been the goalie, but not last year. That's just been a problem for the Preds. Okay. I mean, I'm looking at the Tennessean.
Okay.
Andrew Burnett will remain Predators coach according to Game. All right, let me see this.
Adam Vingan sent me some audio. Let me work on it.
There we go.
Okay.
He's back.
Keezer.
Now you're going to
we love you, Keezer. Here's a quote. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to buying a house in Nashville.
I didn't intend for Keezer to get ripped. In this
I know this is the whole point. Was like, good job, Keezer.
Yeah, I was really trying to be nice. Good job, Keezer.
I hope he's listening.
There you go. Good stuff. All right, so Andrew Burnett back said,
okay,
Nashville Predators.
Breaking news. Now I am reading this Doherty story, and so it must be. I mean, we'll listen to it, but it must have been like, so he's coming back. And he said something like, "Yep, yeah," like because there is no quote that's like he will come back as our coach.
Yep.
He said, "I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time together over the next few weeks."
All right.
So there's not. So to be fair to Keezer, there's not really like a fleshed out quote. Apparently,
all right,
because Doherty used the same quote. Talked to him for a long time. Looking forward to getting to know him next week.
Okay. So, yeah, YouTube creator says all he said was yes. He'll be back.
Thank you.
There you go. Yes.
Keezer, next time, make that your quote. Yes.
Vin gets back in the YouTube chat.
Oh, goody. You can't stay away, Vin.
You can't do it. Can't do it. Well, good to know. Andrew Burnett back.
Breaking news.
On the surprise, like if you're going 1 to 10 on the surprise meter, this is about a 2.
Yeah. Maybe even a 1, right?
Maybe a 1.
Yeah, maybe
but
a
it's
1.
about a 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
anytime you change GM, I just think the timing of it all makes it pretty predictable.
Yeah. And it's good to just knock it out.
Sure.
And end the speculation and move on to other things.
Well, and if you're part of that too is you just made a Colton trade. What's your plan over the next 2 weeks? Right? That's the other part of this. Like, how much does the roster change between now and whenever the bulk of free agency is done? That part of it's going to be interesting. as well. Here's the interview. Here's what Chris McFarland said on
Nope.
Sirius XM.
Okay.
Now, Chris, have you made a public clarification about your coaching situation there?
I don't know if a public clarification. Andrew Burnett and Luke Richardson and Derek McKenzie are on the staff here. Darby Hendrickson and I've talked to Andrew Burnett yesterday for a long time. So looking forward to getting to know him next week and development camp and moving forward. And I'm sure we'll spend a lot of time together over the next few weeks.
So they're all set. They're all coming back.
Yep.
Yep.
That was here's the quote. Here's the quote. Pause. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. They will be back. Well, there you go. Good to know.
All right. Okay. Confirmation. Breaking.
That's how you uncover something on the show here today. Good job, Ian.
That's right.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Appreciate it.
Teaser. We had a team of detectives on this.
Yeah.
We finally got down to the bottom
of
it.
it. Andrew Burnett is back as head coach of the Nashville Predators. I believe Kuharsky is here. We'll have Kuharsky in with us coming up next. Take your thoughts at 615-737-1025. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Ian Safar, Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com is with us on the program. PK, good morning. How we doing?
I'm well. How are you all?
Not as good as you.
I'm looking very forward to chatting with Joe right now about his feelings about the New York Knicks. Go.
I'm happy for the New York Knicks. Good for them. I'm happy for the real fans of the New York Knicks, like people who wouldn't, do a podcast when game one of the finals is on. But tell us more about your Knicks fandom.
I have nothing to be ashamed of here. I've been very clear about my Knicks fandom. I gave up on the NBA like 20 years ago. I am not a diehard Knicks fan. It harkens back to my youth. I plugged back in. I was very pleased to see them do well.
That's cute.
But I'm not pretending. I suffered through the difficult years. I was thrilled to see the city, and I bought into the team. But you're my NBA guy, and I'm ready for you to say that you got virtually, if not everything wrong. I think everything wrong during these playoffs. So I think Nashville is
list them out. List them out. List the things I got wrong.
Okay, you had Detroit advancing far. I think you expected them to go to the finals. You certainly expected them to
advance. You think?
Advance.
So you're already projecting things I didn't say. Okay. What else is on your list?
You had them advancing and beating the Knicks. You had the Cavaliers beating the Knicks. You had OKC beating the Spurs, and you had the Spurs beating the Knicks. All of those wrong. Every single one of them.
Wow.
So I'd like you to say, I'm a guy who follows the NBA, a generally predictable league. I was on the bandwagon of the West being dominant over the East, and I was wrong on everything. Yeah. Why can't you? Why is it so hard for you to say that?
I've said I've wrong.
Repeat those words.
No. To people who are serious, not unserious like you. You're an unserious person. You have no business in any conversation about basketball. So I've said that to people who I respect.
You're on the air. Say it to all the people.
I've already said it, jackass. If you don't want to listen to our show, that's fine. You want to come in here and act like you have any idea what I've said or what I haven't said. You're wrong.
Well, this is our weekly meeting. I'm here to hear it from you.
Yeah. Right.
As a listener of your show
every week,
and a fan and a guy who meets with you for an hour and a half a week,
right.
I would like to hear it because I've yet to hear you admit that you flailed wildly as a guy who talked like he knew what he was talking about in these NBA playoffs.
Yeah,
as a guy who sits through and thinks it's fun to watch a 20-minute stoppage to decide who touched the ball last going out of bounds and whether it's a technical level 5 foul that deserves 2 shots or not, or thinks that Wemby's a premier player now when he's looks like he has Parkinson's disease down the stretch of a game. He's so nervous. I would like for you to say it like you wouldn't do in the text chain where you wouldn't even congratulate Ian and I on the win. Where you went silent for 4 days. After they came back from 29 points down, you couldn't send a text saying, "Whoa, impressive."
There was a lot of silence in the text.
Yeah, I went to bed the other night. I didn't watch the game.
You didn't wake up the next morning, or the next morning.
Why do I need to respond to you? I was at a Dave Matthews show the other night. I didn't watch the game. Oh, I saw the story. Oh, they won. Good for them. Great.
That's the extent of it.
Yeah, that's it.
What a sports fan you are. You're the big NBA guy. You don't read the next day about the 29-point win and look at a text that's waiting for you for comment?
I watched the 29-point win.
You didn't see the game time?
Comment
you're just a human troll, so I don't respond to you. You're an unserious troll, so I don't respond to you. That's all this is.
We're friends bantering.
Yeah, you're a troll.
Okay, so let's speak to the listenership. Never mind me. I'll extract myself.
Step aside?
Yeah, because people really want to hear more about this.
They do. Everybody's been asking.
They're
what's
clamoring.
Rexrode going to say?
Clamoring.
Is Rexrode finally going to acknowledge his failures here? Is he going to credit the Knicks? Will he speak of Wemby's failures?
Right. Have I not credited the Knicks? The two people who are serious here who are actually having a conversation.
Not on a Wednesday.
Robbie and Ian. Have I not credited the Knicks?
Reluctantly, you have.
Well, okay, fine.
Let's give it up.
Reluctantly. It's an amazing story. I love the story of the Knicks. It's fantastic. They are a team that, doesn't have the look of a championship team in a lot of ways. Well, they don't.
There's always the veiled shot.
No, that's not a shot. They're a 52-win team. They've been a pretty good team. They made an incredible run. Incredible run. It's a great story.
He always starts it off with, they're a team that at times I'm surprised that they can dribble the ball up and down the court.
What happened to Wemby?
But they did win.
What happened to the glorious young unbeatable.
Yeah, he
Western
melted
Conference
down.
champion.
Well, they're a young
There
team
he
that
goes. He
melted
melted
down.
down.
They dominated
He
the series.
did.
Now, I
They
told
dominated the series. That's what he
you in
said.
the text chain, I disagree with the people saying he should go back to France and learn how to control his nerves and emotions. I disagree with those people. How do you feel about those people?
I'm not. People said he should go back to France and do what?
Learn how to deal with his nerves.
Okay.
Yeah, you're against those people too?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, how could he be so nervous? You love this guy. You think he's terrific.
Oh, he's a very good player. You didn't notice
but
that? Or
just
did you watch any?
Just don't
Did you
put him
watch
on
any
the
basketball?
foul line with 3 minutes to go and crucial shots to be made.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he looked like, frankly, Jordan got his ass kicked
There
a
we go.
lot of years. He ended up losing 3 or 4 series playing against the Pistons. Magic, everybody said he was a choker when he the first series they lost to the Celtics. I mean, a lot of guys go through this stuff. I think Wemby will probably have some rings. when
He's gonna
done.
be Jordan and Magic.
No, I'm not saying that, but I think he's gonna. I mean, is he gonna be a great player in this league, Robbie? Is he gonna be one of the best players in this league for a long time? I
Yes.
would say, yeah.
Yes.
He'll probably win rings.
He will
And
be in the
you've
Hall of
been
Fame.
very down, if I'm not mistaken, on Jalen Brunson. Your thoughts on
I
Jalen
love
Brunson?
that's not true. Again, you're saying untruths here. I love Jalen Brunson. I love that dude. I love OG. It's a great story. It's amazing what they've done. They punched above their weight big time. They did. I mean, it's an incredible job by them, and everybody loves Brunson.
Was that so hard? Look
Are
at
you
you.
going
Look
to
at you.
are you
I've
gonna
already
purchase-
said this stuff. I mean,
Give
I've
him
already
credit.
said it.
Joe Rexrode growing.
Are you going to purchase any Knicks
Dude.
paraphernalia?
You know-
in the aftermath of all this?
No. I looked a little bit. I thought maybe a hat because I need a hat for the summer, but the logo is so bad. Isn't it a bad? I mean, it's such an outdated logo. They need a rebrand.
Oh my
They
God!
really
What
did.
the takes you have? It's a classic logo. They need a rebrand.
The
My
basketball
God.
is so big that this is the NBA's stupid rule that your logo must include a giant basketball because nobody can understand that your team is a basketball team without a giant basketball in the logo. I'll stick with the Yanks and Chelsea and US soccer.
Well, I was just wondering,
He's doing
you know?
pretty well also right now.
Yeah, you are a resident
That was a-
soccer expert. How we feeling?
That was a great couple day stretch there. I'm sure Joe was in misery, but watching the Knicks, US soccer, and the Knicks again really offset the bad baseball my son was part of in Knoxville.
Was that the greatest? Forget win because probably wasn't the greatest win. Was that the greatest performance by a U.S. team in World Cup history? On the men's side?
In my lifetime with high stakes, absolutely. I mean, this is, for a long time we said it's the greatest generation, and all kinds of things have gone array to prevent it from playing like it. And for all of those guys to simultaneously play fantastically well at the same time was phenomenal. But now I think people just expect they'll roll the ball out and they'll do the exact same thing against Australia. And Australia is a different kind of team and also got off to a good start. And so I'm nervy again.
For the record, I've been watching not all of it. A lot of the soccer. I was locked in totally in that game. It was fantastic. I'm loving it.
Yeah. This is a
I just-
perfect time for a guy like you that writes once every 2 weeks to really kick back in front of the TV. And
We are getting
That's a
after
good
Rexrode
point.
in this segment.
That's a good point.
He's just getting it. It's fine.
I'm trying to
Get
start.
it all out, PK.
I'm trying to start at starting tomorrow when the Titans are done, I'll have a lot more time. But right now I'm trying to start at 2 or 3 o'clock. I'm definitely watching the second 2 matches.
Yeah.
I'm eager to see England.
England and Dallas.
I fell asleep last night at halftime of Argentina, which is pitiful because it's 9 o'clock.
Well, early morning dedication to the program today.
Yeah. All for you, Joe. I thought that was a good segment for you. You really showed growth, and
Way to go, Joe.
And just the final congratulations to the Knicks and to Ian.
I think your trolling was somewhat effective.
A lot of people wanting to know whether or not you heard Rexrode singing yesterday on the rant.
I did not.
There's a Christmas album that is now about to be underway.
I did hear mention of the Christmas album, but I would love any kind of review that would catch me up.
I'm sure
refresh me.
Ian will have some.
Yeah, I'm sure it won't take long.
What,
I
what,
still
what
haven't-
brought on the Christmas season?
So someone tweeted at me yesterday, hey, for anybody who is like a Colts fan, if you don't remember how great Andrew Luck was, read this song by this guy from the Tennessean. And he tagged me, and it was like a picture of the Tennessean when on Christmas Eve of 2018, I wrote sports themed Christmas carols. which I'd forgotten.
Not your best.
And then I was like, oh God. Yeah. And then I sang a few yesterday.
You should blame that on like Kevin Proctor.
Well, that's what Robbie tried to give me the out.
Mingus.
No, he tried to give me the out. You know,
Was this
and I'm
Gannett
like, no,
thing?
actually, it was my idea. Like, well, gee, we'd rather you like actually write sports columns, but okay, some Christmas carols.
Crazy Eddie was a electronics store in the New York area, and they had Christmas in July, a big sale all the time. So anything that brings me Christmas in July, I go right back to Crazy Eddie, who it turned out was like incredibly corrupt.
Really?
Good to know.
Did you ever shop at Siemens Furniture?
It was kind of before my time. My parents might have.
Okay. That's just a famous New York thing. It's part of a Tribe Called Quest line.
Trying to
I didn't know where he was
trying
going
to
with
steal
that.
Crazy
No.
Eddie's
Yeah.
thunder.
No, the Fife Dog had a great line in a song.
Crazy Eddie, the
Electric
prices
relaxation.
are insane.
Well, the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up next. Robbie and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game.
Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment. Let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robbie and Rexrode.
Unless you're talking to Paul Kuharsky, and then let the F-bombs fly. And if there needs to be a little bit of violence, there needs to be a little bit of violence.
What are you doing? I say babies. What do you do?
I hope PK comes in today and tells us how the Knicks are they're going to get absolutely mopped.
As my NBA advisor, I'm looking for a replacement.
If the Thunder make the finals and the Knicks win 2 games, I will put a bald thing on my head. Like I'll buy one of those things, a bald cap, and be Kuharsky for an entire show.
I wanted to check in with our NBA expert here who told me that OKC is invincible.
Born and raised downriver.
I'm well, thank you.
If the Knicks actually win the series, I will be Kuharsky on a Wednesday with him in the studio.
It's huge, hugely well.
If it's Spurs, I might give the Knicks a game.
Go New York, go New York, go.
Let's go Knicks.
Now the Spurs will win the series and it won't matter. I'd be fine with that too, by the way.
Okay.
You owe the fans an apology.
Go ahead. I give you time now to apologize.
It is time for the Rex Rant, brought to you by Rapid Response Generators. Power when it matters most, and served by the Wine Cellar in Hendersonville.
Okay, so where's the bald cap?
No, because
you're going to follow
I'm
through
good,
on any
right?
of these promises?
No.
Why would you be good?
That's good. You promised 5
Help me
times
out.
in there
No.
that they were going to win 1 game, they were going to win 2
But
games.
the bald cap was Thunder.
Thunder.
It was Thunder only.
What is that?
Oh, Thunder.
Yeah, gave himself an out.
Sorry, PK.
Yeah,
I
but
thought maybe
really-
there was a little in there, like I'd be okay with that too,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure exactly what that was referencing.
yeah.
But do
Close,
you
man.
see
It's
how
close.
outspoken you were about the Knicks would fail?
Yeah. Do you understand that you're the jackass? Like,
I would never lower myself to predict games. Ball games are to watch and enjoy and not predict.
and now you're yelling at someone
not
about
like that.
predictions. Shut
I'm
your
not
mouth.
like that. I make predictions, but you know what I do? When I'm wrong, I'm not like your boy, and I just move on. I come back and I go, you know what? I was wrong. To quote the great Frank Wycheck, I was wrong on that. That's what you do. You come back and you circle back and you say, boy, I blew that.
I've done it
and
many
you
times.
haven't done that sufficiently with this.
Yeah, I know. I've
That
done it
was
plenty
about
of
10
times.
times that he quoted you saying they weren't doing it. And it's about 1 time you said I was wrong.
Oh, so I have to count it up. I have to do the exact
Proportionally.
same number.
Yes,
Big
equal
even.
time. It's
Wrong.
an equal time law.
We'll be here for
Like
a while.
Bart Simpson at the chalkboard.
Wrong.
We'll just
wrong,
leave you.
Wrong.
We'll leave you
wrong.
the-
We'll leave you the last half hour of the show to catch up.
I'm just
So weak. So weak.
yeah. Okay.
The Knicks might win a quarter.
Yeah.
I'll be shocked if they ever lead at any point in the series.
Yeah. Maybe 2-0 if they win the tip.
Go, the floor is yours.
Congrats to the New York Knicks. Again, as I've said many times, it's an amazing story.
Congratulating them is not saying I was an idiot in my
Oh, now I have to say I was
read
an
of the
idiot. So I
situation.
can't just be as wrong. I have to say I was an idiot.
Yeah, I'm
Is
saying,
that, will that make you feel
repeat
better?
after me.
I was an
Joe
an
Rexrode
idiot.
was
I
an
was an
idiot.
idiot.
Joe Rexrode was a moron.
Okay.
Joe Rexrode was way off.
All right. Well, I'm just glad that Ian, I really thought Ian was going to play some singing from yesterday. But
We'll get
but
there.
we gotta let it.
he's
Yeah,
been
simmer.
excited.
Let it simmer.
He's had this one cooking.
Oh, yeah.
He's had this one
This
cooking.
has been in the works.
Well, I am going to talk more about music today. I guess this is my week of musical rants. And actually, PK, it's good to have PK here. I used to really enjoy the PK. What was it? Lenny Kakua thing where it was like, is this a real Lenny Kakua?
Fake high school game of the week.
Fake high school game of the week, and we also did country music.
The country
song
music
Yeah.
song, where it's
Song
like
of
if
the
this
week.
is a real song or not.
effect.
Yeah.
They tried to get me with the Springsteen song one time and failed.
Wow. Well, I'm like you and have never enjoyed country music. I mean, if we go through my iTunes, I do have Dixieland Delight in there, and I have Eastbound and Down from Jerry Reed, Smokey and the Bandit theme song. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I have in my. So, but went on a long driving excursion last week. Even let Caroline, who's 15, drive some. Drove to Virginia, drove all around Virginia, drove
she's
back,
only allowed
went to
to drive in
Knoxville.
state.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh crap! We broke the law. Oops.
Let's bring the police's attention back to the red PT Cruiser, please. Back to the red PT Cruiser.
Did she get anything stolen?
40 straight miles. Not that I know of. But one thing she did do is I said, fine, okay. Typically when I'm driving, I've got my iTunes going. A lot of great songs. I mean, I've got it all in there. But she wanted to play her music. And I must say, first of all, it's tough, man. Like, she likes country music. Like, she likes it quite a bit. And so she played. Now it's not all, she plays a lot of, I don't know, who are some of these artists, obviously it's like Taylor Swift, but like some of,
I mean, if you're asking me for modern day artists,
You're in the wrong room.
there's but the usual, the pop artists, she likes those, but she likes a lot of country artists. And so there's some Morgan Wallen playing, and there's some Megan Maroney playing, and some Chris, help me out, Stapleton playing.
He's all right.
Yeah. And then Ella Langley, which we talked about yesterday. I got to say, I don't hate it all. I don't hate it.
Some of it at its base is okay if they would just take out the overproduction and the twanginess. Then it would be like a regular song.
So it's just because I would agree. Sometimes some of these country songs, it's like this is just a pop song, but then there's just a meow in the background, and that makes it country.
Throw on the accent.
Yeah. But I would say I got to say I think Ella Langley's pretty good.
I would agree.
I didn't hate Megan Maroney. I think Morgan Wallen is clearly an overrated artist. Okay. Like it is okay, but like the people going gaga for this guy, I don't. No offense.
Better than the Beatles.
Robby is a friend of most stars in Nashville.
That's true.
Better than the Beatles. Yeah, but it's a little bit. I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, listen. You're a certain age. You don't like new music anymore at our age.
Oh, I'm already there at age 33.
Yeah,
mostly I
certainly
agree.
When you're my age and your age, we're done. We like what we like.
But I've been completely against this genre of music. Just like I just don't like it, and now I kind of do. What does that mean?
It's
I like some of it.
A little bit of bonding with your daughter too. You're leaving open an allowance there because you want to be open to connect with her. And my son likes some of this stuff, and some of it like you. Some of it's good, and some of it I'm like, oh my God, get that off, please.
Well, I mean, I have two other kids. One of them listens to like really bad Memphis rappers, and like this is not good. This is not good. Now I like older hip hop, so I play good stuff for him. So maybe that's a difference because I don't hate the entire genre, but I don't know, man. I'm freaking out a little bit about liking country.
My kid's in like the top 2% of Lil Nas X fans.
Oh yeah,
in the country. But he also likes a lot of like good songwriting, country-ish. I think there's a borderline there.
Sure.
I think you and I are the same on that. Like good songwriting, country-ish stuff is good. The full produced, twangy cowboy hat accent stuff is too far gone.
But like I actually like.
But if they stripped it down and played it with a guitar acoustically and a microphone, it would be good.
I'm a big fan of country all the way up until about 2008. And then we started to get into the bro country phase, and I just can't do that.
FGL?
Yeah.
FGL?
I can't do that.
They're pretty bad.
Yeah.
So you broke the law, and you said, hey, these are the earliest times of you driving. Let's distract you with your music.
Yeah, well, I did say, if you're going to drive, we'll put your music on, but don't sit there messing with the volume. Whatever song is playing, the song's going to play. You focus on the road.
How'd she do?
She did okay. 40 straight miles. Illegally, apparently.
Yeah, apparently so. It's good to know.
I've
had
had
potential run-ins with the police.
Yeah, a lot for a variety of reasons.
Oh, sir, good to see you again. You're the guy that found my laptop.
I still haven't asked if I can play the video, by the way.
Yeah, you got to. I mean,
we got to get this out there. Yeah.
The dog days of summer.
It's kind of embarrassing to think about like calling the police and be like, you think it'd be okay if I put that video on my social media? You know what I mean?
Video of me looking like a complete dumbass.
Yeah.
Staring at the phone.
Hey, guys, what a nice day it is out here, huh?
I could have swore I heard my car door open. What happened back there?
I mean, what's the most embarrassing angle of that? Like him completely not paying attention, or there being nothing of the bag of value that the guy wanted?
I would go with option A.
Tight bag.
Yeah. This is a nice computer.
That would be some tight
Look at
bag.
this. This is a nice computer.
It's been years and years that we've been begging you to get that one out of the closet.
Yeah, it finally
replace the one that didn't have an X key.
Finally takes it out. And somebody immediately runs off with it. Just immediately takes it. 615-737-1025, our phone number. Kuharsky with us the rest of the show. We got a lot of stuff on the Titans front to get into with minicamp underway. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us for the next hour, talking all things Tennessee Titans, presented by Rapid Response Generators, power when it matters most. We welcome your questions for PK on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Well, PK, day one of minicamp for the Titans yesterday. A lot of discussion that we've had with you and in general on the Cam Ward accuracy front. What did you take away from Cam Ward yesterday in day one of on-field activities at minicamp?
He was better yesterday. They ran almost entirely 2-minute, red zone stuff. And I think it's been well established, like on move the ball periods that are more like real football. He's better. There was more pressure on him. Some of it almost felt invited, that let he and the other quarterbacks kind of escape and get on the move, do things on the fly. I had him 9 for 15 in team periods. He ended with an interception, which was bad, but he threw 2 touchdowns. He had 2 other touchdowns dropped. And he had 3 balls dropped entirely. So that would get you 9, 10, 11, 12 of 15, which is very nice team period play. I thought he looked more comfortable and the whole thing operated better. I expected the story of the day to be defense, because you had Flott back, you had Alontae Taylor back, you had John Franklin Myers out there for the first time. It was a more complete defense than it had been. But I thought the offense generally in the 2-minute period moved the ball pretty well.
Well, I'm going to trust Terry McCormick's math. He had him 12 of 22 for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Well, he may be counting 7-on-7 in there, and I'm less interested in 7-on-7, where he misses too much in a drill that the ball shouldn't hit the ground, and B, I don't think, unless you're delineating the full practice, the 11-on-11 from the 7-on-7, I think it's oversimplifying and giving guys easy completions.
I don't think he's doing
7-on-7.
If he was including 7-on-7, so you're saying he's just saying he was 0 for 3. I think he's just doing team here. I'm quite sure.
Yeah.
So again,
whose
math is better?
Well, there's room for
there's
room for misses. Guys get marked short of the marker, incompletion. Sometimes there's a flag and it's unclear who it's against and stuff like that.
It's funny that you thought the story of the day would be anything, but did Cam Ward stink again, or was he a little better? Was he great? I mean, this has become, I guess it's going to be the thing anyway. He's the quarterback, but
every day.
I feel like this spring it has especially just become this. It's become a thing,
a
bigger thing than I would have guessed.
I've not written quarterback every day out of OTAs for a 5 practice span in a while, and I have now.
And you have now.
Yeah. I mean, it's that part of it's been the talking point. I mean, I thought his press conference yesterday was interesting. I mean, he talked about how, and we were talking about this a little bit off the air, that you're not going to be perfect out there. And then somebody asked him, what are you looking for out there? Perfection. That's what I'm looking for. Perfection out there.
Very weird back-to-back contradictory answers.
Yeah.
Not his best. I wrote, specifically, I wanted to get away from just the daily review thing.
Yep.
And I wrote specifically about the option routes, and so we haven't seen a pick on the kind of option routes I think we mostly think about, like a mid-range pass where the receiver turns right and the quarterback throws left and a linebacker steps into it and has an easy pick six. We haven't seen
read
that.
it differently.
But I did talk to somebody who said, some of the deeper stuff where you've seen balls fall incomplete have been those sort of different reads from the quarterback and the receiver. And so that certainly is part of when they're talking about trying things and, being okay with incompletions and misses and stuff. That's been a factor here. And it's a big change. And guys have to get on the same page. And that certainly takes more than 9 practices. And it's a big thing that's going on offense that's not going to be complete, even, on opening day, that they're going to have to get used to. over the course of time. And I think when we talk about Cam's chemistry with Wan'Dale Robinson, with Carnell Tate, with everybody, it's going to come down largely to that, reading things the same and making the appropriate decision.
So you've seen, so for example, someone reads post, Cam reads corner, he throws outside, they run the post. Was it stuff like that? That far away?
I don't think that dramatically. I think smaller.
Like
Smaller
how
stuff.
you're rounding off
leverage
a
goes
route,
inside, outside on a route that's going to the sideline, but are you turning inside or outside?
Well, every offense has some level of that built in. Like you're making reads, but it seems like it's more emphasized in this one. Like, what do you make of just operating an offense that way, especially with, the combination of a young quarterback, a young number 4 overall pick receiver kind of stepping into that?
And I think, look, it sounds good for Cam, right? Cam's better as a reaction player than kind of a pre-scripted.
Yeah.
Okay, this is exactly how it's going to work, which we saw with Callahan. This is exactly how it goes. Run it according to script. Kind of taken away what he does best. And even the best play, it's all over Titans Twitter. They're film guys who are spectacular. The ball was set at the 2-yard line, but he rolled right, and John Franklin Myers was in his face, and he very clearly dropped his arm and threw it right past JFM's hip to get to Gunnar Helm for a touchdown. That's the freelancey element that makes him an exciting player and can be super effective. And that play kind of illustrated why he looked more comfortable yesterday.
Is Gunnar Helm going to be a dude?
He looks good in what he's doing, and I think he's going to get plenty of opportunity. The target division on this team is going to be very interesting. I think we could all see Robinson getting a lot of targets, Tate getting a lot of targets, Ridley conceivably getting a lot of targets, Spears getting a lot of targets, Gunnar getting a lot. So, that's too many people to get a lot of targets. So who are you taking them away from?
Well, we were talking, earlier about, we've talked about this before, that the Mariota second year, Cam second year thing, right? Obviously when the big thing, Mariota did not have the talent at receiver that Cam has this year. Mariota had a much better offensive line as it turned out, right, in that second year. But he had, Delaney Walker was an awfully important. And I'm not suggesting Gunnar Helm is going to be close to that, but to have a little bit more of a reliable outlet there, it's been a while.
Well, right now on paper, their tight end group looks weak on paper. Now, we'll see how it plays out.
He's got to stand out.
Also, I think Bellinger, what did he catch? 12, 14 balls last year. I think he is more capable than that, and they're going to make an effort to have him involved so that you don't see him on the field and think, well, this is a blocking guy.
So he's Anthony
only
Fasano.
Block. Yeah.
There you go.
More so.
Yeah.
Nice. Good pull.
Anthony Fasano would every once in a while would make a nice play, man.
Yeah. Good pull there. One texter asking if there have been any young defenders that have stood out to you to this point, even though there's no pads on.
Well, Marcus Harris has been out there a lot, and they've really pumped up Marcus Harris. I asked Alante Taylor about him yesterday, and he raved about him as well. So, he's getting big reviews from everybody, and he's a key guy because there's no clear alternate to him unless you're talking Tony Adams, and he's the big nickel. I don't think he qualifies as the regular nickel. So Marcus Harris doesn't have depth behind him. I think that's a spot where we could see a veteran show up later who doesn't land anywhere good or gets cut by somebody else and comes in and takes the role that they have to give him, unless one of these kids really emerges. But the young, inexperienced secondary guys they've gotten a lot of reps, but they haven't looked particularly good.
Another texter saying, can you ask Kuharsky if he's noticed Falk? I feel like he's the least talked about first-round pick in Titans history. I responded to one thing is, let's remember that we're not talking about pads, but what have you seen? Noticed anything?
Yeah, he's got some presence to him, but I'll say this, Saleh from the start has been kind of dismissive of the whole OTA thing.
Yes.
Like this isn't that important. And it really been dismissive of the trenches.
Yeah.
Like you ask him about offensive line or defensive line stuff, and he's like, this is not indicative of anything, and until we get pads on. He said that more staunchly than any Titans coach in the 30 years of this team. So, I said there was more pressure and there was more, I think, a kind of invited pressure yesterday. And then some people were like, oh, what does that say about the offensive line? I don't think a lot. Maybe a guy gets an arm in and is able to think, maybe it gets a good first step or something, but I don't think it's broadly telling about what the offensive line is doing or not doing, or what the defensive line is doing or not doing. I think it's just all a big wash inside there, outside of small, early technical wins.
I mean, Saleh has essentially said he's not even paying attention to it until training camp rolls around.
And if he's not,
why even
then
have
we
him out there?
certainly shouldn't be.
Yeah, just can you guys go inside?
You guys,
Well, you want the quarterbacks to at least have that traffic in front of them.
Yeah,
to-
have a human,
to sort through.
yeah, have some bodies near them.
615-737-1025, our phone number. More of your questions for PK on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. More coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Robby Rexrode, presented by Green Ventures Landscaping. Property managers, if you manage it, they maintain it. Visit greenventureslandscaping.com. We are live today from our Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Paul Kuharsky with us here on the program. PK, we talked about this at the end of last week, and I would be interested to get your take on it. And Saleh was asked about Cam Ward and like what makes him elite. And he basically said he didn't really want to go down that road of answering the question. And then he got into, the toughness and the ability to move on from play to play. And one of the things I said last week was like, I would love for the quarterback at some point for the coach describing him to be like something tangible on the field. That would be great. Like, that's what I want out of somebody describing my quarterback.
Or wait, how about he moves on really well from good plays?
Yeah,
He doesn't dwell on all the good plays he makes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, when he screws up out there, he really does a good job of stepping in there, which is important. We saw the opposite of that with Will Levis. I understand all that. But, he didn't really put his foot down in terms of like some traits tangibly that lead to elite quarterback play. Some Titans fans made something of that. Some people thought I was crazy for talking about that and saying I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Where do you come down on that?
No, I think it's telling. And I think this is an interesting conversation about traits. I think he has a good mindset, but I don't think that's a trait. I don't think it's the kind of trait we're talking about. We're looking for what is the physical trait. All right. I think the quick release is very important. I think the ability to make a play in trouble, those are probably the two things I would put down. The steady demeanor and the leadership, those are good things, but those are not the kind of football traits I think we're looking for when we ask the question. And so
I don't know. I think I might disagree with you. I mean, I guess you could obviously separate them in physical and mental traits, but how much did people talk about Marcus? I always keep bringing it back to Marcus. He's pretty good. Bring it back to his lack of leadership or lack of vocal, or with Levis talking about just like how basically frantic he was, right? Like and
but also
unable to put
what was
bad plays
Marcus's
behind him.
football trait? He also didn't have one.
Well, Marcus was a world-class athlete, and he was an accurate passer, right? Sort of.
Yeah, but I don't think you looked at Marcus ever and went, wow. Now Cam,
really? I did when he won the Heisman at Oregon. There was a lot of.
I'm
wow.
not talking about college.
Well, that's what you. That's what you base someone on when they come into the NFL.
Yeah,
though.
but when he was in the NFL, what did you say? Wow.
You didn't think that there were some games where he said, "Wow," like the game where he smoked. Sorry, Robbie, your Packers over here. I thought he had a wow game.
Some games, but overall body of work, like
over time, it was like
say,
it wasn't.
When you're looking
elite.
at the top quarterbacks now, I think they all have something that makes you go, wow. Lamar's escapability, Josh Allen's arm and running ability, and
Marcus was throwing no-look, ridiculous throws in the red zone. Remember, his red zone stuff was actually insane for a while.
I mean, the biggest thing with Marcus, like every now and then he'd break off a run where you're like, I mean, against Jacksonville, he broke off like the 90-yard run. It was like, holy crap, look at that.
Yeah.
But it just didn't happen very often.
I will say this. I think, to be fair to what you're saying about the non-football stuff, I think Marcus's football stuff was weakened by his lack of leadership and spine, like you're referring to.
Yeah. So like two of the last three primary starters, non-football traits were primary complaints about their overall game. Marcus's mousiness and Levis's whatever you want to call that.
And Tannehill's best thing was he was superb play action quarterback. Is that a football trait? That's kind of an in-between thing.
To me, his accuracy was phenomenal.
Yeah.
His athleticism, he actually was a better runner than people.
Pretty good athlete.
And then he totally blew it.
And by the way,
which are the kind of traits that get you to be what Tannehill was, which was a 12 to 15 quarterback.
Yeah.
Which they proved you can do pretty well with.
Well,
absolutely.
That's why I think this conversation is interesting too, because I mean, look, the Titans had a quarterback that won an MVP here that, physically he was tough as nails, but that was the biggest thing that people described. Like, he was unbelievably tough. He ran like a running back, like he was looking to run people over. So you had some physical traits. He was just sturdy. He was tough to bring down. But I mean, like by
Clutch,
far,
clutch isn't a football trait, but he
right.
played his best at biggest moments. I think that counts.
Right. But like by far, to me, like the most physically gifted quarterback they've had is Vince Young, without a doubt. Like he did things all the time that let you say, wow, but he was so far off the map with all the other stuff that it never mattered.
Right. Yeah. Talk about like the other traits mattering there, right? Like,
Right.
I mean,
so I think you've got to have the mentality that Cam has to start with.
Yeah.
But then I
Yes.
want the physical on top of it.
like Jacob in the YouTube chat's like, do we not think Ward has pretty elite arm talent? And I think that's a fascinating question because he will make throws that are like, whoa, how many people could do that? And again, some of it is because he's on the run, because he's extended a play, he's thrown across his body. That's an insane throw. So kind of, yes, but to me, elite arm talent, elite arm talent means you got the laser is right there, point over and over and over again, and that's
Matthew Stafford has elite arm talent.
Yes.
Cam Ward is not in that department.
Well, by the way,
at
like
all.
I also think when you start listing off quarterbacks, like everybody says that it's like, oh God, how many QBs can make that throw? And then you go around the league, and it's more than you think.
It is, but like a Stafford, he's in the small group.
Yes, for sure.
And there is Stafford who gets it there because
Rodgers.
he's got an incredible arm. There are other guys who just find a way to get it there.
Correct.
And that's fine.
Which is like Brady. I mean, Brady had a very good arm, but part of the reason he went where he did in the draft is he didn't blow anybody away with any of his physical traits.
Right.
The ball was out quick, but the accuracy was there every time.
Anticipated
Kirk Cousins'
it. He
career in the
practiced the hell out
NFL
of
should
it.
not have happened with his athletic traits. Should not have happened. But the accuracy and the quick decisions makes a career.
So I think ultimately our verdict there is it doesn't really matter as long as you're effective. And can he be effective? Well, we've certainly seen signs of an ability to be effective. And we're seeing a scheme that's going to play more to his favor. But we need to see it. We need to see it. We need to see it consistently.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you want to, and hope maybe this answer changes as the year goes on and Robert Saleh watches him play actual football. When you get out there, it would be great if halfway through the year, let's say that same question gets asked and Robert Saleh says, well, he is exceptional at knowing what the defense is bringing to him and how they change the picture after the ball snapped and know where to go with the ball. Or he has developed such a routine with his footwork where that ball outside the numbers, it's exactly where it needs to be every time. Like things that
or these option routes.
Yeah.
He and the receivers are always on the same
Always.
page.
Yeah. For
It's
sure.
95% hit rate, which is extraordinary.
Because I think Titans fans, like honestly, it harkened back to Callahan a little bit where it was just like, well, what do you like about Will Levis? Like, well, he's tough. I was like, well, great.
Yeah.
Doesn't do much when you're throwing the ball over the back of your head to the other team. Like, I want my quarterback to have some traits about him that actually help you win football games.
I agree. Now, see, I would also argue, like if you said Will Levis is tough, yeah, like he's tough. He likes to run over people or whatever. But to me, tough is not allowing the situation to get too big for you, which he did, right? So that's where I do think these traits for Cam Ward are important in terms of moving on and all that. But you got to be obsessively working on this stuff too. Do you get the sense that's as important? Obviously, you talk about Vince Young. I mean, the guy could have been great. He could have been great. There's no question about it. Whereas I think a guy like McNair, Tannehill, those guys, like I think they put in all the stuff that you have to put in. And I'm sure like Levis did too, but I think he couldn't get out of his own head. And so again, those aren't the tangible traits. So maybe Levis had, I guess he has accuracy stuff too. I guess somewhat like Cam Ward in a way, but those things are, those traits are very important and you want to hear about that. But at some point then it's like, great. Like there's a lot of people who they just can't do the job well.
Right.
Yeah. I think the toughness too doesn't count that much if it doesn't come with smart. I wrote about this. They really value tough and smart. Now they're valuing that at with the lesser guys.
Yeah.
And they need more guys that I believe this firmly. They need more guys who the first identifier isn't tough and smart. They need more guys who the first identifier is explosive or powerful or fast or talented.
I agree.
You want to load up on
Yeah,
those
But
guys
you know what?
who might be tough and smart.
totally
But you don't
agree
want
in
the first
general.
identifier to be tough and smart.
Agree. No, I agree. Like in general on a roster, it's an interesting question of would you rather have a quarterback who's tough and smart and is going to do all the things, but it lacks that talent, or the supremely talented dumbass who doesn't do what you're supposed to do? I'll take the tough, smart QB.
Well, how coachable is the dumbass? Is the question.
Put it on.
There's one for you, Ian.
615-737-1025. More coming with PK next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode, 102.5 The Game. Paul Kuharsky from paulkuharsky.com with us here on the program. What's your sense, PK, for Carnell Tate, the progress that he's made, and how the Titans maybe view that? I mean, I understand it's been OTAs and minicamp. Do you feel like the Titans have gotten a sense of, all right, well, maybe this guy's ahead of where we thought? I mean, yesterday, some of the conversation with him kind of surrounded the different positions that he's grasping at the NFL level at wide receiver, trying to be as versatile as possible across the formation, all those things. Do you feel like maybe they think he's ahead of schedule of where they thought he could be as the number 4 overall pick?
Well, at the very least, they think he's, on schedule, and they've gotten confirmation that he is what they expected him to be. So, that's very encouraging. He's shown the things that they thought he could do. He goes up and gets it. He's got the strong hands. He glides very smoothly, and he looks like their best guy at the position, all of which is what you want from a highly drafted wide receiver coming in. And so I would think, barring any setbacks, I don't think it's unreasonable to think he could be the best guy on the field for them on opening day. And that the wide receiving core has been reset with him and Wan'Dale Robinson, pushing Ridley to, more of a 3 and giving you some legitimate depth with Io Manor and DK.
Is there a clear difference? Because Ridley has been out there or no?
Ridley's been out there, but he's not done a lot of team.
Okay, so I retract the question then. I was going to say, when you compare those two, do you see like a difference in jump? How about this? Although I'm asking you to think back years, like how do you compare your general feeling about him to like what you thought of AJ Brown at this point in 2019?
Well, AJ Brown was I don't remember what I thought of AJ Brown in spring camp, but I felt really good about the direction they were heading with a receiver that had a feel of he was going to be something different and better than what they had. There's still more unknown, it was a 2nd round pick, and there were a lot of guys that went ahead of him and all of that. So there was a lot more room for AJ Brown to surprise us. I don't think there's as much room. I don't think there's a lot of room for Carnell Tate to surprise us. We're expecting great things for him. So I think it's a different setup for him.
Of course it is.
But I mean, we're tying that into the Ward discussion. Like if he is from the jump, just an absolute dude out there as a number 4 overall pick. I mean, that's gotta, number one, it should help Cam Ward. But number 2, I also think it accelerates the conversation on Ward a little bit too. It's like, hey man, you got yourself a bona fide stud receiver out here that they felt good enough to take at number 4 in the draft, and he stepped into the NFL and immediately is productive. Like it's got to mean good things for Ward, but I also think it starts to do what I've been clamoring for, which is, you want to, when you're evaluating a quarterback, as quickly as possible, eliminate some of the excuses that are naturally there, especially when you're entering into a situation like this one, which was horrible coming into it.
Yeah, and not just that, but you also give him a high volume target guy who, is proven to be capable in Wan'Dale Robinson. And so, look, it's not one of the best receiving cores in the league, but it's substantially better than what it's been for some time since AJ left.
Yep.
And so really, look, the offense should be much better and functional. And the question really is down to those 2 offensive line positions. And if they can survive there, then it comes down to performance and play call in a lot of ways.
How has DK looked as a receiver throughout all this?
DK's looked pretty good, and he's come on, I think, more strongly. And what a position for the Titans to be in, to have a fourth guy who can come in at any of those three positions for a guy who's just run two routes and needs to step out, or, you hate to discount injuries with this team. Somebody's going to twist an ankle or pull a hamstring or something. And you hate to go too deep, but if he's one of the top three there, you hope he'd be replacing Ridley. You don't want him to be replacing Tate or Robinson, but fully capable. I think you'd be feeling better about your four stepping into your top three than you have in some time.
Well, let me ask, do you think there's a chance that he plays his way ahead of Ridley at assuming health for everybody? Can he put himself in a spot where he starts taking some snaps away from Ridley out there this year?
Yeah, I would think it would take a while, depending on Ridley. I think it's very important that Ridley start well. I think that Ridley can get in ruts. Sometimes we've seen him have ruts at the beginning of seasons and really have to fight to play his way out of it. And he can be a slow starter. If he's a slow starter this year, is it harder and harder to wait that out? If you've got DK or even Io Manor, practicing well and challenging him, it's a problem you'd like to have.
Yep.
But it's a fair question.
I'm kind of bullish on DK, continuing to grow. I wonder if Tate and DK could be the outside tandem. Maybe that's too optimistic on DK, but Tate and DK as an outside tandem for a stretch. I mean, I think that could be in their future.
I also think, what kind of carryover chemistry is there between Ridley and Ward? How does the option route thing change things for them? And how's his recovery from the leg and his aging all come together? He cut the dreads. I wonder if there's any symbolism to that, like fresh starting for Calvin. And we haven't talked to Calvin throughout this spring, which is disappointing. I'd like to hear from him.
So it's just straight up. They're just picking for you.
Yeah.
That's good.
We'll hear from Jeff today.
All right.
It's scheduled.
There you go.
At any rate.
When's the last time you looked at a Titans receiving core and you could clearly identify five that are just absolute? I mean, it's no question about it. Five, not only that are on the team, but like could actually contribute. It's been a while. I don't know exactly when it's been, but it's been a long time. Like even with AJ and Corey Davis was here, I don't know, did it go five deep where you were like, yeah, those guys can absolutely step on the field and actually contribute?
Taylor Taylor.
Yeah,
it's a good question.
Khalif Raymond, he did play.
Need to look back at the when were they best three deep, when were they best four deep, when were they best five deep. It's
obviously
nobody is harder on the history of wide receivers with this franchise than I am.
Yeah,
and so they're in a good position, but also one turned ankle that cost a guy 6 weeks, and you start to test that depth a little bit.
But I do think that, to your point, in most years, like at least that fifth spot is kind of like it could be a few of these people. Could be
and look,
Chester Taylor.
Right.
I'm not suggesting that they're like in the best shape they've ever been in at wide receiver, because look, I'm optimistic on Tate, and Tate's going to have to play pretty well in his career to live up to what AJ Brown was, right? Like
exactly.
I think we would all recognize that.
I mean, AJ and Corey in what, 20, right? 20?
Yeah.
I mean, that was
pretty
Corey
good.
was still a 1,000-yard receiver basically with
Just
AJ Brown as a stud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just the top two like that when can you be that? I mean, is Tate going to be AJ Brown at all? I mean, you start there, right?
Hope.
That's definitely what you hope if you're drafting him number 4. We did get Rexrode yesterday, PK, to enter into the Titans DNA conversation that he so very much hates.
Speaking of DNA,
but he brought up something that's kind of interesting. I mean, the Titans won, what was the year, 1961?
Yeah, they got one of the
AFL championships.
It was your beloved New York Knickerbockers that you love so much. Their drought that they ended brought, ESPN had this big graphic on droughts, and I guess I hadn't even thought about it. The Titans have one of the longest droughts in this franchise, Titans Oilers, third longest in the NFL, one of the longest in sports in general, which, I mean, makes sense if you think about it, but I just hadn't really. So that there's a DNA, which again, I say this about the Lions. Ownership that's the constant. That family,
Yes.
the Ford family, has botched one thing after another over years. That's where I'd buy DNA. And my question was, what is it about the Adams family, if there is something, that has limited them? Is it decisions too hasty, cheapness, hiring bad people, not a good sense of people, whatever? Obviously, it's not like they've had no success, but that's a long drought. I mean, and they've knocked on the door one time to be in one Super Bowl.
Well, I would say the first thing that comes to mind is premature firings. You can't fire Bum Phillips when Bud did. I don't think you can fire him
because he couldn't beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, which was like one of the greatest teams of all time. Yeah.
And I don't think you fire Vrabel when you did.
Is Vrabel the next Bum Phillips? Is that what headline?
Well, he did wear the hat.
Kuharsky says that's right.
He did wear the hat.
Yeah.
So I think those two were short-sighted and stalled, but I just don't think they've been among the smarter organizations decision making wise. And if you look at Titans era of this franchise, the talent has just not been sufficient and sustained. And so you've caught some meteors like Simmons, like Henry, like Byard, but it's never been sufficiently surrounded to get them over the top. And if they could have won a Super Bowl out of 99, out of the couple AFC championships that they went to, you wonder how much it would have turned the franchise, taken away the stigma, all of that. But it's all what ifs.
Because I feel like you hit on, those two eras. That's Floyd Reese putting together great teams. I mean, they had a stretch where they were right there with anybody in this league.
Yep.
Getting drafting Curse. I mean, they had some, obviously, as you know, great picks. And then John Robinson's early years, you built up a team that was a 1 seed without its best player for half.
Well, the bottom line is, on 3 separate occasions, they have choked away a 1 seed in basically the same exact scenario all the time. It's played out differently in those games, but at home.
And you mentioned,
and that's not ownership, right? I mean, you can't.
That's another, I want to say unluckiness, but Bum Phillips running into all-time Steelers, and then Titans running twice into Ravens when they were very good and playing
Incredibly
poorly
tough.
in those games. 2000, the Titans were the best team in the league, and they just played really poorly in that game and got outpunched. And then several years later, the same exact scenario pans out at Nissan Stadium. Those 2 games. If Titans era, you could change anything. I mean, first thing would be Dyson scoring, but the second thing would be those two damn losses to the Ravens, where you think, like, if they could get past the Ravens, there are less challenging teams on the other side of that.
Especially that 2000 team. Like that, I still maintain that's the best team they've ever had.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And Jeff Fisher will tell you the same thing.
615-737-1025, our phone number. One more segment with PK coming up next. Robby and Rexrode, 1025 The Game. Final segment of the day. Paul Kuharsky with us from paulkuharsky.com, taking your thoughts, your questions for PK at 615-737-1025. Duncan fans, Bellevue's next location coming up at 7120 Highway 70 South announces their grand opening event this Saturday from 9 to 11. To celebrate, they're bringing in baseball star players from Banana Balls, Texas Tailgaters, and Party Animals for a special meet and greet. That's Duncan's grand opening this Saturday in Bellevue on Highway 70 South from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Come on out and enjoy the fun there as well. PK, Rexrode has thrown this out there. It's an interesting thought. You had the Brendan Sorsby stuff going down in college football where he's going now into the NFL supplemental draft, all the gambling stuff that's going on with him. You know, there have been some teams that have been thrown out there that could possibly be interested in him. I mean, one of the ones that I've heard thrown around there is the Steelers, which actually makes a lot of sense when you really think about it. But Rexrode idea, if you're the Titans, throw a 5th round pick in there is basically like the supplemental silent auction of all this. And if you end up landing him, fine. It's not that much of a risk. You still are operating under the assumption, I think, that they're going to try to move on from Will Levis at some point. I mean, they're basically letting Hendon Hooker occupy a spot on the grass right now on the practice field. What do you make of Rexrode's idea of throwing a 5th round pick Brendan Sorsby's way in the NFL supplemental draft?
Why?
I don't want to keep 3 quarterbacks. I think it becomes inefficient as you get injured later. And it's just not roster. It's not super practical roster wise. I don't think.
Yeah, but you could, he can go on the squad. You probably fine, right?
If you cut him to go on the squad, then somebody who didn't spend a 5th can get him for $100 waiver claim or whatever.
You also might be, holy crap, we got a first round talent with our 5th round pick. That's great. I mean, I understand that Mitch Trubisky is signed up for this year and he's looked good in practice. That's all great. But what if you had a young quality backup, and who knows what's happening with Cam Ward, and all of a sudden for a 5th round pick next year, which at this point, everybody in the NFL, even in a great draft, everybody in the NFL is like, yeah, once you get there, it's a bunch of dudes you thought would be there, but they actually went back to college, so it's not good. I mean, look, I don't think they're going to get him.
Well, how's your research on him too? Like, do you want a guy who's dumb enough to gamble throughout his college career?
That's a good question.
Sure. You got to do your homework. You got to do your homework.
Yeah, I think somebody probably spends at least a 4th on him who is more quarterback needy. I like the Pittsburgh idea. You're hearing a lot about Cleveland. Boy, that would clog up their roster.
You talk about 3 quarterbacks. How about 7?
6? Yeah. They'd have to make some decisions and put some people on the street, but they're awfully needy. Who's the one other team? Arizona, maybe.
Arizona, yep.
Yeah. But I didn't see him play. You tell me. You're our college football / NBA expert.
Right. I will say one thing about Sorsby, like when he runs, I mean, he's a fast, powerful runner, big arm. He came up really small in a couple of huge games last year. Other than that, really was lighting it up. I think all the skills are there. Like you said, that you have the gambling thing, you have the questioning the overall intelligence, but also now he's in recovery. Like this is not, oh yeah, I'm going to go to recovery because I caught, like you look at what he did. He needs it. He legitimately needs it. It was totally reckless of Texas Tech to think that it was a good idea for him to play college football this year. I mean, that would have been unbelievely bad for him, to me.
Is part of his running game having grown up running from bookies?
Maybe that's it.
Some speed drills out there.
Of course, now they have these things. They have these things called phones and
I know
apps.
It's modernized, but he could have been doing this as a young man.
Have you heard whether or not Nicholas Petit-Frere's career as a fantasy football contributor / advisor is still going strong? I mean,
I haven't heard.
He's not playing, so like, how do we feel about that?
I hope it's going well.
Need to do some digging at paulkuharsky.com on what's going on there.
I feel okay not knowing. I really do. I'm more interested. I'd love to go write the what's become of Isaiah Wilson story.
Hey, that's not a bad idea either.
I'm sure he'd open up to me.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. Lots to choose from.
Yeah, when's the last time anybody heard from Isaiah Wilson? He was trying to do some music, right?
Yeah. All these guys who think they're good at music as opposed to have musical opportunities because they're famous football players.
Well, there's that.
Tajay Spears.
Yeah. Tajay Spears?
Tajay
Sharp.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm like, I did not know. I didn't know we had that.
Stay your lane.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
By the way, Bumgarner at the Athletic has thrown out some potential landing spots for Sorsby.
Okay.
Got the Cardinals, the Jets, the Browns, the Steelers, the Dolphins, which could be interesting, the Saints. That's it.
Okay. So I thought the Saints were a real thrill. They have got their guy.
Chuck. Yeah.
Chuck is just going to be it's just a superstar.
Dolphins are interesting.
Malik this year throwing the ball to no one's going to be interesting to watch.
I wouldn't have much faith in Malik. I think I've expressed that a few times.
Well, but you have to admit he has surprised the hell out of you with what he's done here, right?
Yeah,
Since he left here.
And I think he's going to surprise the heck out of people with what he does from here forward.
Could be.
Just completely the other way.
Some people are just haters.
He did throw one of the worst first pitches I've ever seen. Like the inability in
How
particular
could a
for
professional
quarterbacks,
quarterback throw that pitch?
Yeah. Like for quarterbacks not to be able to throw a baseball. I understand it's not the same thing, but some of these quarterbacks you'll watch throw a baseball. I mean, some of them have a baseball background, but some of them just can't do it.
You shouldn't need to, though.
The lack of self-awareness that you don't know that you can't throw the baseball and don't turn down the invitation is more disturbing.
Go look up the Denard Robinson first pitch.
Oh,
that was an all-timer.
Baba Booey is all-timer. Don't block the box. Be sure to lock your locks, especially if you're Joe Rexrode in a gas station parking lot.
Watch out for those red PT Cruisers.
That does it for us today. Next Man Up with Jake Lyman coming up next. You're listening to 102.5 The Game.